Stick with me here. I answered one random call by accident, and suddenly the entire world literally shook. Global leaders frantically launched emergency overnight meetings. Special ops units instantly shifted right into maximum-level combat readiness to strike immediately. An absolute massive army of heavy tanks completely surrounded the city. Why? Just because my phone call was slightly different. Truthfully, I am the absolute mastermind behind the massive top-secret space elevator project of the Vidian Republic. Then my little daughter called for help. Her tiny voice echoed through tears. "Daddy, please save me. Someone is bullying me. I miss you so much." Hearing that, the phone completely slipped from my hand, shattering on the ground. In that exact split second, I totally froze. My breathing grew incredibly heavy. A massive flood of memories came rushing back, sending my brain into an absolute tailspin. Could it really be her 6 years ago in Valoria City? I once had a brief, fleeting romance with a beautiful girl named Alara Sterling. At first, we lived so happily together. But then, when dangerous enemy factions found out I was joining the huge space elevator project, they immediately sent elite agents to completely eliminate me. To protect her, I took a massive hit and fell right into the ocean. Waking up 3 whole months later, I never contacted her again. I even erased every single piece of my contact info. I was absolutely terrified those vicious enemies would somehow target the incredible woman I loved. I know what you are thinking. I totally assumed after just 1 week together she would absolutely have found somebody entirely new. But I never expected that Sterling was pregnant. Despite thinking I was gone forever, she kept the baby and bravely raised our child alone through endless hardships. She even kept my memento often staring at it while crying so silently. Thinking of this, my heart practically ached fiercely. My entire body stiffened like I had completely lost my soul. Suddenly, I trembled and coughed up pure exhaustion because intense internal trauma absolutely loves having dramatic timing. A panicked nearby scientist quickly ran over. "Commander, what the heck is wrong with you? Prepare the absolute fastest jet immediately. I have to go back immediately. I have to save my girl." Unbelievable. For all these years, I completely dedicated my entire life and soul to protecting this country. Yet my wife and child were not even protected. I truly deserve the worst. My hoarse voice echoed loudly like it came straight from darkness. I ripped off my lab coat immediately, dashing out of the top-secret underground research base. Meanwhile, at the Vidian Science Alliance Director, Eris Mercer was completely stunned, quickly ordering communications to the higher-ups regarding this wild situation. How the heck are those people doing their jobs? Commander Vance actually has family, and absolutely nobody reported this. Inside the underground research base, over 20 top-tier scientists erupted in absolute fury. Commander Vance sacrificed silently in this harsh wasteland for the Vidian Republic, yet his precious wife and child somehow have their lives actively threatened. You and I both see this sheer audacity, right? Minutes later, absolute chaos erupted at the military office in the restricted zone. An officer loudly roared through the comms. "All units assemble now." The entire 100-kilometer restricted zone instantly locked down. Tens of thousands of epic soldiers stood up roaring together. Commander Vance's wife and child are being horribly threatened, even beaten. Can we tolerate this? Absolutely not. The minister has officially given the final order. We must act now. Tens of thousands of soldiers screamed, ready to storm Valoria City. Every single aircraft currently on missions had their flights abruptly canceled. A massive squadron of supersonic fighter jets was deployed to rush me home at maximum speed. 6 other fighter jets and dozens of armed helicopters escorted from behind to completely protect my family. At the exact same time, inside a rundown house in the Rusty Nail district of Valoria City, Alara Sterling lay completely helplessly on the floor. Her beautiful face was deeply bruised, the corners of her eyes drenched in tears. Around her, over a dozen fierce-looking men surrounded her. A scar-faced goon sneered obnoxiously. "You cheap trash, do not be ungrateful. Do you know who young Master Thorn is? Being noticed by him is a massive blessing. Countless people dream of, yet you dare refuse." Alara smiled faintly, eyes resolute. "Kane Vance, I finally found you. Ever since I met you, I decided it would only ever be you. Even though the Sterling family completely kicked me out for having our child, I have honestly never regretted it." She recounted how Darius Thorn, after being totally rejected by her used dirty tricks, forcing her into high-interest debt just to make her submit. "But even if I perish, I will not let him have his way. Maybe in my final moments I will finally see you," she muttered, going full Shakespearean tragedy. She stared blankly at my picture right on the wall as if seeing me walking toward her smiling. The scar-faced goon barked. "I am asking you a question. Answer me." He delivered a harsh slap that sent her sprawling. "Your daughter is in our hands. If you want her to survive obediently, listen to young Master Thorn. As for cheap trash like you and I both know he will just play around until bored, tossing you away. Oh, and that 6 million debt, you must pay that too. Shameless." She screamed she never borrowed a single penny. The scarred goon just smirked smugly. "Let's dive in together." The young master chased her all year, claiming 6 million was letting her off easy since the Sterling family was incredibly rich. "What is 6 million to them?" Suddenly from the corner, a tightly tied-up little girl cried out with all her might. "Mommy, please do not be afraid. I already called Daddy. He will come rescue us right now." Ara was stunned, her hopeful eyes quickly fading. "Silly Pip," she whispered. "Kaylin Vance, your father passed away 6 years ago." The little girl kept crying. "Mommy, you lied. Daddy is not gone. He is still alive." His voice was so incredibly gentle. "He promised he would be here and told us to stay brave." Hearing this, that scarred goon laughed maniacally. Even if the Emperor of Heaven himself came to Valoria, he could not do a thing. Here, whatever the powerful Thorn family says absolutely goes. With those cold words, he grabbed and dragged her away. "No, please do not take my mommy. Leave her alone." Watching her mother get dragged off, little Pip wailed miserably from the room. "Mommy, stay strong. Daddy will come save us. He will definitely be here." Tears streamed down the little girl's face. Her eyes held a truly heartbreaking mix of desperate hope and profound sadness. Would her daddy actually show up? Meanwhile, at the Valoria Security Bureau, Chief Inspector Jarek was handling boring paperwork when his desk phone suddenly rang. Seeing the important caller ID, he hastily stood up and respectfully answered, "Greetings, Minister. Watch closely because things escalate here." An urgent voice blasted through the line. "Jarek, you have caused a massive disaster." Jarek was utterly dumbfounded. He was always cautious and dedicated. How did he cause a disaster? "Minister, what is wrong?" What happened down in the Rusty Nail district under Valoria's jurisdiction? A woman named Alara Sterling is currently renting a house. Just recently, a mysterious group forced their way inside, viciously attacking her and her innocent child. This incident has deeply alarmed a massive VIP backing her hearing about this brutal home invasion. Jarek completely froze, his mind spinning wildly. Strictly speaking, a simple assault was not a massive deal, but if it alerted the top brass, this woman definitely had one truly insane background. What kind of godly background does she possess? He thought frantically. The minister's harsh voice continued without pause. "Jarek, I order you to drop all current tasks. Focus absolutely everything on investigating and resolving this specific case. Mobilize all armed forces in Valoria fully equipped with live ammunition. When facing the suspects, you do not need to ask for any permission. Eliminate them on the spot. At all costs, you must guarantee the absolute safety of Alara Sterling and her young daughter. If you mess this up, you can kiss your chief inspector position goodbye forever." The phone abruptly hung up with a sharp click. Jarek's face instantly turned grave. Seriously, what kind of unbelievable background did this woman possess to make the minister issue such a ruthless command? He was practically panicking. "What are you standing around for? Dispatch the police force immediately." He roared at his subordinate, but the man did not budge. Instead, he quietly lowered his voice. "I know what you are thinking, but watch this, Chief. We must stay put." Jarek was absolutely furious. "Are you trying to ruin me?" "But this is a direct order from the top," the subordinate calmly explained. "Alara Sterling belongs to the main lineage backing the massive Sterling Automotive Group." Hearing this heavy detail, Jarek somewhat understood the situation but still remained incredibly confused. "But why must we stay put?" The subordinate continued. Unfortunately, 6 years ago, Ara was completely expelled by the Sterling family due to a massive scandal over having a child out of wedlock. And the real mastermind behind this incident is the powerful Thorn family. The news of young Master Thorn chasing Ara for a full year has spread all across Valoria. It seems he finally lost his patience. Though the Sterling family is wealthy compared to the mighty Thorn family, they are nothing. We absolutely cannot afford to offend those terrifying local giants. Jarek breathed a massive sigh of relief, silently thanking his subordinate for the crucial heads-up. If he acted right now, he would be directly clashing with the fearsome Thorn family. The Thorn family was a colossal entity in Valoria with roots deeply intertwined in both major business and high-level politics. They were basically the local emperors. How could a mere chief inspector dare to touch them? "Oh, Minister, you really handed me a completely impossible problem to solve." Jarek sighed at his desk, feeling utterly helpless. But he could not completely ignore it either, because the Sterling family was definitely no weak pushover. After pondering for a moment, he slowly said, "All right, send 2 officers to the Rusty Nail district to investigate the situation. Tell them to be extra careful and definitely not make a mountain out of a molehill." "Yes, Chief." The subordinate left immediately. Jarek exhaled, feeling so lucky he handled it tactfully. But he had absolutely no idea the power backing her was not her family. It was an entire nation. That is where we leave it. Meanwhile, in the capital city of Zenith, Minister Trenton Hayes violently threw a book to the floor, roaring in pure, unstoppable rage. "You and I are jumping into absolute chaos today. The Vidian Republic calls itself the world's safest country, wielding massive law enforcement power. But right now, the family of a genius scientist working day and night is sitting in extreme danger. Total absolute joke. How exactly do you people do your jobs? Is Valoria's security chief just sitting around doing absolutely nothing? He cannot even manage one tiny city." Deputy Minister Sinclair stood nearby. He rushed to say, "I already called Commissioner Lyle and explained how bad this is. We absolutely must fix this smoothly before Commander Vance returns." "A simple call is not enough." Minister Trenton shook his head hard. "Get my jet ready right now. I am heading to Valoria myself." Over at the Akalon Provincial Police Department, Commissioner Lyle was literally gripping his head, pacing back and forth in pure, unfiltered panic. He just got a direct call from a capital deputy minister, and that had never happened once since he took office. Now watch closely, because things get wild. Right then, his desk phone started ringing again. The second he picked it up, a booming voice echoed, "Commissioner Lyle, I am Trenton Hayes." Lyle shook as a freezing chill ran down his entire spine. Minister Trenton, the absolute highest boss in Vidian security, was actually calling him personally. Trenton spoke with pure ice. "Skip the small talk about the Valoria situation. I expect you to handle it personally." Lyle stammered hard, but before he could even reply, Trenton roared. "You clearly did not plan on dealing with this yourself. Are my words just a joke to you?" "No, absolutely not, Minister. I already warned the Valoria Security Bureau about this massive emergency." Lyle desperately tried to explain. Trenton completely lost his temper. "Lyle Alara Sterling and her child absolutely better remain completely safe. Let me be clear. Our security system is not the only force heading down to rescue Valoria. The military region is moving too. A massive fleet of heavily armed tanks and armored vehicles is already rolling out right now. I am boarding a chopper to fly there immediately. You better sort this mess out yourself." Suddenly, frantic knocking slammed against the door. Lyle yanked it open, and a terrified officer shouted, "Commissioner, we have massive trouble. The Akalon military region just declared a whole fleet of tanks and armored vehicles is rushing toward Valoria. They ordered us to clear every road, plus an entire squadron of fighter jets is about to touch down at the Akalon airport. They are demanding we mobilize every single officer to protect the very important person arriving." Hearing that, Commissioner Lyle felt his vision go completely dark. He desperately grabbed his phone to call back, but only heard busy signals. After failing a few times, "You and I both know things are escalating fast." He completely snapped and screamed, "Everyone move out, leave a few on duty, the rest follow me to Akalon right now." The eyes of the entire nation were now glued to this tiny province. Meanwhile, right in the eye of the storm at the Valoria Security Bureau, Chief Inspector Jarek sat in his office casually chatting with the powerful Thorne family. Even though this guy was only their Akalon butler, the mighty Thorne family had built incredibly deep roots here for decades. A butler held serious power. "Butler Chadwick, here is the situation. Can you please have a word with young Master Thorne? Tell him to just lay low for now. If the top bosses call me again, I will be in a very tight spot." A chilling laugh echoed from the other end. "A tight spot? Should I just tell the Patriarch to replace Valoria's chief inspector?" Jarek panicked and forced a laugh. "Ha ha, Butler Chadwick, you know I did not mean it like that. It is just that the higher-ups—" The butler totally cut him off. "Do not bring up higher-ups to me. In Akalon, the Thorne family absolutely fears no one. Even the top official in this province has to bow down when greeting our patriarch." Maybe feeling he sounded too harsh, the butler slightly shifted his tone. "Besides knowing the young master, if he wants her, he gets her. She actually refused him. If people find out, the Thorne family would become a total joke. But I heard young Master Thorne almost finished someone off." And the boss said this mess alarmed Alara Sterling's backers. Jarek tested the waters. So what if a few nobodies disappear? We just pay some compensation. 10 million, even 100 million. The Thorne family has plenty of cash to spare. As for backers, did I hear that correctly? In Accolon, someone actually dares to compare their strength with the Thorne family. Unless she can drag out the absolute top authorities of Accolon, maybe we would show some respect. But is that even remotely possible? Jarek thought it over and found it reasonable. You are right, but it is best nobody gets seriously hurt since the big bosses are watching. The butler scoffed. Consider her lucky. Trust me, they have no idea what is coming. Stick with me. I'll tell Master Thorne to spare her, but that heiress kid must absolutely vanish from Accolon. The Thorne family can be merciful, sure, but her arms and legs must be broken before tossing her right into a lonely orphanage. Jarek smiled bitterly, terrified to speak another word. He just sighed, shaking his head in total dismay. He knew perfectly well that with the Thorne family's tyrannical attitude, this was absolutely their biggest possible concession. Just pity that poor girl. I tried my best, he told himself, feeling like there was truly nothing else to do. Meanwhile, over at the massive North Valoria airport right now, 6 supersonic jets, 3 on each side, heavily escorted the main aircraft. That central jet cut right through the clouds like a sharp blade, speeding furiously straight toward the east runway of Accolon Airport. Watching this insane scene, the Accolon airport manager literally felt his scalp go numb. Good Lord, what is happening? Why did an entire squadron of military fighter jets just show up out of nowhere? Without hesitating, he grabbed his walkie-talkie and screamed out, "Attention all personnel, clear runway 2 immediately." He announced this to the entire airport. All arriving and departing flights must hold. Everything stops now. Priority goes strictly to these jets. After shouting that, he bolted out of the office and ran straight downstairs. Bursting out of the terminal, he saw military vehicles carrying hundreds of heavily armed soldiers stop right at the entrance. The leading officer aggressively barked at the troops behind him. "Watch closely now. Everyone follow me to welcome the commander." The trembling manager ran over, stuttering, "Captain Dallas. What's happening? Is a top commander really coming to Accolon? Why wasn't I informed so I could prepare everything properly?" Captain Dallas simply replied, "Old friend, you are right on time. Hurry up and prep a fully fueled helicopter. The commander has an emergency. Understood, I'll arrange it immediately. But Captain, please give me a hint. Which commander is this? Honestly, I don't even know myself." Captain Dallas lowered his voice. "But I do know the entire Accolon military region is completely mobilized, all for this one commander. It heavily involves his own family. Plus, the local police force couldn't be mobilized, so the military region commander ordered if the police won't step up, our military will take immediate action." The airport manager's eyes widened in absolute shock. What? Who in all of Valoria actually has the guts to offend this mysterious commander, to the point where the region commander personally deployed the army because local police couldn't be trusted? Is the sky falling over Valoria rumble? The deafening roar of jet engines shook the entire airport as they landed. The cabin door opened. I walked down with brisk purpose. "This is the commander. He's way younger than I thought," Captain Dallas said to himself, but he instantly shouted a crisp salute. All the soldiers simultaneously raised their hands in a crisp salute. I had absolutely zero mood for pleasantries and roared, "Get the transport ready. I need to reach the Rusty Nail district immediately." My ice-cold glare literally made Captain Dallas shudder in fear. He hurriedly led the way forward. "Commander, the helicopter is ready. We can take off right this moment. Please follow me." At that exact same time, the soldiers and elite pilots from the escorting jets finished assembling. "I know what you're thinking." They loaded weapons, forming a protective circle around me, while the airport manager watched this in utter disbelief. Soldiers following this commander made perfect sense. But why were the pilots tagging along? Didn't they need those massive jets anymore? He yelled out. "Hey, are you guys just leaving these fighter jets right here? Nobody is going to fly them." One soldier stopped, turned around, and calmly explained, "The planes aren't important. Dumping them is totally fine. The main army hasn't arrived yet. We're just the vanguard squad protecting the commander. Supersonic jets are fast but can't carry many people. The rest of the Frostmark army arrives later." Hearing this, the manager nervously inhaled sharply. "There is a main army coming too." He quietly followed along, watching me board the helicopter while guessing my identity. Pilots are absolute national treasures. Yet here they were, totally ready to abandon their billion-dollar jets just to act as my bodyguards. It was simply unbelievable. Suddenly, he remembered something and yelled into his walkie-talkie, "Lock down runway B2 immediately. These are highly classified fighter jets. No taking pictures. Set up a 24/7 guard detail. Nobody gets near them." Boarding the helicopter, a pilot from the Frostmark Frontier stepped right forward, forcefully yanked the cabin door open, and coldly told the airport's pilot, "Get out. From now on, this helicopter belongs entirely to the military." The airport pilot's jaw dropped. "But this is the nation's brand newest helicopter model. You guys might not be used to it." "Get out," the intense Frostmark pilot growled. "The commander is in a massive hurry. We have zero time to mess around." The terrified airport pilot obediently left the cockpit. Dallas grabbed soldiers who knew the Akalon terrain. "Trust me, you and I really want to see what happens next in the Rusty Nail District. Stick with me, watch our hero hop the chopper." Whoosh! The massive engine roared loudly. It launched upward like a rocket, zooming straight toward the Rusty Snail District. Peering down, the old Akalon scenery looked exactly the same. Rivers, mountains, and streets zoomed past below. Overwhelming emotion brought tears to his eyes. "Ara, hang on, I am coming. Pip, your dad is back. You just have to wait. Those bullies who hurt you, I will make them regret it big time." Meanwhile, back at that gloomy house in the Rusty District, inside, the goons smirked, stepping toward little Pip, who sat powerless on the floor. Suddenly, a strange voice yelled out from the doorway. "Hey guys, what is happening here?" The dark guard frowned, moving up to stop the two police officers sent by Jarek, speaking with cold attitude. "This is young Master Thorne's personal business. Better mind your own business." Police Captain Loxley scratched his head, faking a laugh. "Understood. Young Master Thorne's stuff is priority. We just got a report and came for basic checks, but hey, try not to seriously injure anyone at all. The bosses are watching this case closely. If things get extreme, we cannot protect you." The man in black frowned, looking very annoyed. They were mere pawns. If someone vanished and the higher-ups investigated, the Thorne family would definitely blame them to save their pride. "Watch closely, the tension rises here." Pip heard the outside noise, using the distracted guard near the window to take a quick peek. She slammed the door open and dashed outside, screaming loudly. "Mr. Save Me, officer! Please rescue Pip." Seeing her run out, the dark guard's expression completely dropped. Loxley quickly bent down, acting concerned. "Little girl, slow down. What happened? Why is your face swollen?" The girl clutched my photo, pointing her tiny finger at the huge men. "Mister, they took Mommy and want to end me. Help me." Loxley faked deep thought. "Really? But do you have proof?" "Without any solid proof, I cannot call them villains or help you out." "All right, go inside. Work calls." Watching him leave, Pip started crying hard. "Do not go. They really are villains." Pip is totally honest. "Rescue my mommy!" Her sad cries rang out, but the bald goon snatched Pip, dragging her right back inside. The 5-year-old girl's eyes showed pure despair, a feeling no young kid should ever experience. Growing up, her mom always taught her the world was wonderful and villains face justice. You and I both know reality hits hard. The heavy door slammed completely shut. The bald goon grabbed a thick kitchen rolling pin. "You have bold nerve running away, little brat, but you are quite lucky. Orders say to keep you breathing, but your arms and legs say your goodbyes. When you reach the orphanage, never say your mother's name again." "Got it." He raised the rolling pin menacingly high. Pip held my photo tight, stepping back in pure panic, stuttering. "Understood." "Speak up!" he yelled, stepping forward and standing directly over her, repeatedly striking her sore cheeks with his hand. Even with light strikes, Pip screamed in horror. "Stop hitting! Pip is scared, Daddy. Where? Why have you not saved me yet?" The bald goon mocked her photo. "Keep wishing. Even if he shows, the Thorne family will crush him. Young Master Thorne wants your mom. He would never let another guy interfere. If rumors spread, the Thornes become a joke." A nasty look crossed his eyes. Suddenly, an epic roar shook the sky. A helicopter shattered the clouds, dropping at lightning speed. Hearing it, Pip peeked out, eyes shining with pure hope. "Is that Daddy? Mommy always said Daddy is a truly legendary hero. When I grow up, he will fly down." Rumble the chopper hovered safely. Those spinning blades launched massive dust clouds. From inside, my eyes locked onto that rundown window. A tiny girl with a tear-streaked face captured my attention. Her massive, bright eyes stared right at me with intense hope and belief. Her eyebrows looked beautifully resilient. Her tiny nose was super cute, but her stubborn stare shattered my heart completely. It matched mine perfectly. Then I spotted the guards. One glared at my helicopter aggressively. The other loomed over Pip, raising a rolling pin like a weapon prepared to strike her down. Trust me, you are not ready. Pure epic rage completely took over my entire body. That is my little girl. Do not even think about touching her. Daddy is coming. I threw the cabin door wide open, screaming my lungs out, ignoring if she heard. Seeing my insane stance, the poor pilot completely panicked. Terrified I would jump, he screamed to protect the commander. Instantly, the other helicopters dropped their altitude, hovering just 3 meters right above the dirt. Stick with me here. What Dallas sees inside that house changes absolutely everything. He realized that little girl was my family. Right then, he stopped caring about earning any medals. His chest just erupted with an absolutely unstoppable volcanic fury. During the flight, Dallas had learned from the elite guards that I was a legend, a genius who could push the entire Republic light years forward. I sacrificed everything guarding this nation, but the nation failed to protect my own daughter. Thinking about that injustice, Dallas saw pure red ready to unleash a total firestorm of rage right from his very soul. He roared to his squad that my daughter was down there currently being threatened by absolute scum. He ordered them to drop down and protect her, shouting that Dallas grabbed his rifle and jumped straight out. No ropes deployed. He did not even care if jumping from this height shattered his legs. Only one single thought remained. Saving just a second meant the little girl was safer. The rest of the squad grabbed their rifles and dove without any hesitation. Heavy boots slammed into the dirt, echoing constantly. Even with bad sprained ankles or completely fractured bones, they pushed through. Pain gripped their rifles and charged the house, taking a knee. My helicopter pilot screamed to deploy the rope ladder. He has 0 jump training. It is too dangerous. The others kept dropping down, clicking off their gun safeties, fully ready for combat. Watch closely. Right before impact, you and I see 2 very epic flashbacks. First, the massive Star Ladder project out in the remote Frostmark frontier. There, a man who loved staying clean worked himself to absolute exhaustion for pure data collapsing in the lab, surviving in a state of complete disheveled chaos. He was exactly like that 6 years ago. He is exactly the same today, absolutely never giving up. The second memory was that incredibly tender look in my eyes, gazing down at my precious daughter from the helicopter. Those 2 powerful memories collided. It made every soldier swear that no matter the price, no matter who blocked the way, they would unleash pure fury to get justice for me, even risking their own existence. Meanwhile, I quickly slid down that rope ladder. Outside, the bald thug heard the loud chaos, ran outside staring at the wild scene. He completely froze, paralyzed, his eyes glazed over. Giant choppers hovering above. Elite soldiers with heavy rifles dropping down like absolute fearless forces of nature. Instantly, over a dozen heavy gun barrels locked straight onto him. Next, a few injured soldiers rushed forward, violently tackling that absolute scum right into the dirt. He did not dare resist. His mind went blank, utterly clueless about what was actually happening. The warm sunset light pierced the window, beautifully illuminating Pip's youthful face. She sat there completely dumbfounded, unable to believe her very own eyes. You felt that too, right? When she needed it most, soldiers dropped like heavenly warriors riding the golden sunset to save her. And one specific man was staring at her, tears streaming down his face. Was that Daddy? Pip sat on the floor, curiously watching the tearful man rushing quickly right toward her. Seeing my face clearly, she excitedly screamed, "Daddy! It is Daddy! Mommy always said that Daddy is a real superhero. If Pip is a good girl, Daddy will fly down from the sky to see me." Pip was an extremely good girl, so her daddy really came down to save her. Pip's eyes filled with tears. She clumsily stood up, bolting straight toward me like a baby bird. She could not be mistaken. Ever since she could basically understand things, her sweet mother pointed at my photo, telling her that was Daddy, the absolute best daddy, a literal superhero. Seeing me, Pip was certain her daddy had finally returned. Even after 5 long years apart, absolutely 0 distance remained between them today. Inside her innocent heart, her father's amazing image lived with her every single day, all thanks to her mother's stories. Instantly, little Pip completely buried herself into my chest, hugging me tightly like a tiny koala. I choked back a sob, weeping softly. "Daddy is right here. Daddy is here," seeing Pip. "Trust me completely." My heart literally felt like it was sliced open. "It's all my fault. I am so sorry Daddy didn't find you much sooner. It's all my fault," I cried, completely consumed by massive regret and painful blame before my precious little daughter. I could not say anything except sorry. Little Pip looked up, using tiny hands to wipe the tears from my cheeks, softly whispering, "Daddy, don't cry." "So what do we take away? Superheroes never cry." I nodded, fighting back tears, forcing a brave smile for the little girl in my arms. "Stick with me here." I suddenly spotted the swollen mark on Pip's cheek, heart aching. From the chopper above, I assumed it was just dirt, but this was a real injury. "Daddy isn't upset, but please tell me what happened here. Does it still hurt?" Pip looked up bravely, reaching out her little hand to pass me the crumpled photo she tightly gripped. They tried taking Daddy's picture, but Pip absolutely refused to allow it, so they struck me. But Pip stayed incredibly strong. This is Daddy's only picture, and Pip simply had to protect it. That picture was from a glorious mountain climb I did years ago. It was the only precious memory I left her, and those absolute villains actually dared to try taking it. They actually struck little Pip. Her brave words echoed in my mind repeatedly. My eyes burned with absolute fury and a fierce need for justice. They will pay. Whoever supports them, I will flip this entire island upside down and rip their shadowy network out entirely. The sheer intensity of my anger made my throat taste incredibly bitter. I shielded Pip's eyes and unexpectedly coughed up a wave of sheer exhaustion. 6 years of relentless grinding had completely drained my physical limits. Within just a dozen intense minutes, my emotions rode a massive roller coaster, causing my inner energy to spiral totally out of control. I gently softened my voice. "Pip, bravely cover those ears and stand inside the house. Please stay inside, okay, Daddy." Pip obediently covered her ears, standing perfectly still. "Watch closely as things get intense." I stepped outside, face freezing cold, glaring at the 2 captured goons. "Who exactly are you?" I glanced at Captain Dallas. He hesitated quickly and said, "Commander, let us handle this. Stay totally clean." Dallas readied a heavy automatic rifle and respectfully handed it over. I took the weapon and firmly pressed it right into the bald guy's chest. "I will ask one final time. Speak." The bald villain felt the fierce energy radiating off me and panicked. "Please, wait, it really wasn't us. We only followed orders from young Master Thorn. Your daughter is totally fine. Please just let us go. We live by rules here. Taking us out is a huge mistake. That Thorn family in Akalon is seriously powerful. Surely, Commander, you know that." My face stayed completely blank. I coldly asked, "Where is Sterling?" "They took her. Young Master Thorn really likes her." The barrel of my rifle slowly lifted upward, aiming dead center at the bald guy's forehead. He scrambled backward in total panic, hitting the dirt. "Do not end me. I serve the Thorn family. I am highly useful. You hold great status. If you finish me, you will face huge trouble." Bang, bang, bang. I refused to hear one more excuse. My eyes glaring intensely, I pulled the trigger. The rifle spat fire, completely blasting that bald villain right out of the picture. I pivoted toward the last remaining man. My terrifying glare made him stammer wildly in pure fear. "Please do not end me. I serve young Master Thorn." I said absolutely nothing, loaded a fresh magazine, and coldly pulled the trigger. Bang, bang, bang. The loud gunfire echoed endlessly as I roared fiercely. "I will make everyone involved pay the price. You feel that intensity, right?" I walked back inside, gently hugging Pip as she waited. Shielding her eyes, I whispered, "It is finished. You can open your eyes, but do not turn around." Captain Dallas and his elite soldiers followed. Walking away, he anxiously texted an urgent report to the higher-ups, not betraying us, but simply having them prep for the massive fallout. The pilot strolling beside him suddenly whispered, "Captain Dallas, you totally planned to pull the trigger yourself and take the blame for Commander Vance, right?" Dallas nodded, deeply sighing loud. "Exactly right. So many people need the commander. How could we let him carry such a burden?" The pilot simply shook his head. "You are overthinking. Those 2 thugs mean absolutely nothing. Mark my words right now. Even if Commander Vance flips Akalon totally upside down, nobody will dare stop him. The commander dedicated his entire existence to the Vidian Republic. The country needs him. No matter who bravely stands against him, regardless of their terrifying power, if the commander demands it, Vidia's elite soldiers will gladly risk absolutely everything to completely obliterate those foes right in front of his eyes." Dallas completely froze, staring at my back in awe. The pilot also watched me carefully, eyes shining with massive respect. Someone who truly achieved so incredibly much for this great nation. How could he suffer such disrespect? Just watch. These 2 goons are merely the opening act for a much grander show. Dallas physically shuddered. During the flight over, he heard mysterious whispers about my powerful backing forces, assuming he actually understood it. Now he realized he barely even scratched the surface. Meanwhile, right outside the Rusty Nail District, Police Captain Loxley and several nervous officers were cowering inside a dark patrol car engine completely off. They trembled visibly while watching me lead a huge squad of elite soldiers away. Only when heavy military vehicles arrived to extract everyone did those officers finally dare to sit up straight. Moments ago, they witnessed something totally unbelievable. Trust me, you and I are just getting started. Choppers filled the sky as elite soldiers dropped like gravity was totally optional. Stick with me here. We are about to see our mysterious hero grab a blaster and instantly defeat Master Thorn's 2 lackeys. We are totally finished. Captain Loxley's face went completely white with sheer panic. Young Master Thorn really messed up this time. If they investigate, we are not getting away. If that little girl tells them we were there, they will easily track us down. Then we are completely ruined. Yeah, Captain Loxley, think of something. We only came here following your orders. You cannot just abandon us. One officer panicked, his voice completely shaking. Loxley grew even more irritable, looking paler by the passing second. You cowards. When there are rewards, I get absolutely nothing. Now you need a scapegoat and remember me. Stop arguing and think. I seriously feel like the sky over Akalon is about to collapse. Military helicopters. Just who exactly is that mysterious guy? Hearing their words, Loxley stayed quiet and just lowered his head in deep thought. Minutes later, he finally looked up, his voice hushed. Think about it. With the chief's power, can he honestly even protect us? Are you joking? One officer shook his head. That was the military. Coming to this Rusty Nail District was purely the chief's arrangement. If he cannot protect himself, he will completely wash away like mud in a river. He won't last. The officers gasped aloud, remembering the overwhelmingly intense aura of those soldiers. Their panic instantly multiplied. Then what should we do? Should we contact Chief Jarek first and see if he even has a plan? Someone suggested. Reaching out was honestly terrifying, but they all nodded. That is our only choice right now. Pay attention now. At the Thorn Mansion, Lucius turned to Butler Chadwick and ordered, "Call the young master. Tell him to be extremely careful not to make a foolish mistake right now. Tell him to stay safe." Butler Chadwick nodded quickly and hurried off to do it. Lucius leaned back in his chair, completely deep in thought. He grabbed his phone eagerly, wanting to figure out who this stubborn rival was and how to defeat him. If this guy lacked real backing, Lucius would guarantee he never walked out of Akalon. But if he was a huge deal, Lucius would handle it carefully, though he would definitely make the guy pay dearly for the insult. Lucius made several phone calls to his highly powerful friends. Oddly enough, no one knew the true identity or background of this mysterious man. Even weirder, they all intentionally dodged the topic, acting as if they were absolutely terrified of getting tangled in a mess, and quickly hung up. Lucius frowned deeply. This kid is far from ordinary. Even these clever old elites are acting like grass bending to the wind. But he realized that the stronger this opponent was, the more defeating him would solidify the Thorn family's massive prestige. What a perfect chance to assert total dominance. Lucius heavily tapped his fingers on the desk, then made one final call. After a very long wait, the line finally connected. A deep voice spoke. "I told you, unless it is an absolute emergency, do not call me." Lucius forced a smile. "Big brother, while it isn't a complete emergency, do not call me Big Brother," the voice interrupted. "Ever since I joined the Huxley family, I have absolutely nothing to do with the Thorn family. Call me Minister Huxley." Annoyance flashed in Lucius's eyes, but he kept smiling. Minister Huxley right now, while not totally critical, the Thorn family is facing a real existential threat. You and I both know this is huge. Without your help, the Thorn family gets completely erased. When that happens, both of us lose our roots. The other end went silent for a long time before slowly answering him. "Speak." Lucius quickly recounted the entire incident from start to finish. The phone went completely silent again for a few minutes. The voice returned. "You said he arrived in Akalon on a helicopter with Captain Dallas. If so, you are thinking way too simply. This cannot be resolved using just provincial-level connections." Lucius frowned. "What do you even mean? Provincial officials cannot directly command the military. Only someone inside the Akalon military region could force Captain Dallas to act. To put it simply, the guy you are fighting has military backing." Lucius's eyes grew cold as he muttered, "I didn't expect to underestimate this kid. He actually has ties to the military." Minister Huxley then calmly continued, "But he only managed to mobilize a single captain today. His power might not actually be that immense. Over in Akalon, my godfather is currently the chief secretary of the entire Akalon military region. He is highly respected by the top military commander. I will personally contact him and ask him to step in and handle this." Lucius was stunned. He never expected his big brother, who hadn't returned to Akalon in over a decade, to still have such ridiculously deep connections. Lucius only knew a basic regiment commander, yet Minister Huxley casually name-dropped the chief secretary. This was truly insane power that reached the heavens. I really must cling tightly to my brother's influence. Trust me, this gets crazier, Lucius added. Oh, the guy also has ties to top provincial officials. Commissioner Lyle personally called to check in. No matter, I will handle it, Minister Huxley replied indifferently. Stick with me here. Even top officials bow down to Zenith's ministers. That is just incredible. Thanks, big bro, you really saved the day. Lucius cheered happily. With your help, everything is perfectly sorted out. Save the sweet talk. Just manage the Thorne family properly. This is absolutely the last time. If your boy causes another massive mess, I will not help. He might cause a huge disaster, dragging both the Thorne family and me down. Big bro, you are definitely exaggerating the situation way too much. Little Darius is just a cheerful, overgrown kid. You are a Zenith minister. How could he possibly bring you down? You give him too much credit. I'm totally serious. You must discipline him yourself. Rest assured, big bro. I already decided to keep him safely on the island so he stops causing trouble. Are you finally feeling at ease about this now? Meanwhile, on the Western Akalon Highway, a flashy Mercedes convertible confidently led a massive convoy of over 40 vans and BMWs racing down the road. Inside his car, an angry Darius Thorne just finished an intense phone call with Butler Chadwick. He looked furious. That jerk. Could it be Sterling's hidden backer? He actually dared to defeat my entire crew. Have we discovered his true identity yet? Is it the Sterling family, the absolute nerve battling the powerful Thorne family? Are they really asking for a downfall? Butler Chadwick patiently advised him. Young master, you should head home and lay low for now. Gather more people to protect you. The patriarch is making calls to handle this. Meanwhile, make absolutely sure that mysterious rival does not catch you. Darius nodded and hung up. Despite his bold arrogance, he was incredibly cautious whenever his safety felt threatened. He instantly called his buddies. Buster, I am near the Western Highway. Bring your guys to back me up right now. Now pay attention here. Bring everyone. Someone is trying to mess with me. What someone is actually messing with you? Are you kidding me right now? Who in Akalon dares to challenge young Master Thorne? Did they suddenly find some ridiculous courage? Hold on tight. I'm coming. After making a few more calls, Darius sighed with deep relief, feeling totally safe again. Seeing over 100 guards around him, plus another 100 arriving soon, his supreme confidence completely returned. With nearly 300 guards protecting me, I refuse to believe this guy wins. He grew extremely curious about this mysterious rival and what epic background gave him the confidence to oppose him. Was it really because of Sterling? If so, I will definitely teach him. Daring to fight me over a girl he clearly does not know real defeat. To Darius, his glorious Thorne family ruled all of Aquilon, an absolute belief he proudly held since early childhood. Even taking a temporary loss as long as his mighty family had his back, absolutely nobody could ever touch him. Striking Darius Thorne meant completely disrespecting the entire Thorne family name. His father and the whole clan would never forgive that. But just to be extra safe, he avoided returning to his main base immediately. Fearing his mysterious rival planned an ambush, he stopped completely. He patiently waited for all his incredible backup to arrive before moving forward. In another car, Alara Sterling stared blankly at the strange surroundings. Her beating heart panicked, but she stayed completely silent. She only worried deeply about Pip, totally unsure if her sweet daughter was actually safe. As for her own fate, she truly cared less. Over these tough years, she grew used to suffering. Fading away might actually bring her peace, but she feared leaving her completely. Pip was way too young to survive alone. She just could not rest. Let us pause for a second. Deep despair washed over her. Suddenly, roaring engines completely filled the air as dozens of cars quickly arrived. Seeing his backup arrive, Darius finally let out a long exhale. Greeting them happily, he marched to Alara's car and sneered. It seems you have got some truly solid backing around Aquilon. Somebody actually dared to challenge me for you. Speak up now. Is it the Sterling family? Did you beg them, right? Alara violently jolted. Right then, she clearly remembered little Pip screaming before getting taken away. I already called Daddy. Daddy will definitely come to save us. Is it him? Is he honestly still alive? But then she sighed, fully convincing herself it was impossible. She feared hoping way too much, only to receive absolute heartbreak in return today. As for the Sterling family, Darius aggressively mentioned she felt that was completely unrealistic. She never contacted them, and they simply would never bother saving her. To the Sterling family, she only held value if she was useful. Captured by the young master of the powerful Thorn family, the Sterling family would absolutely run as far away as they possibly could right now. Thinking about this, Alara fell into a daze, completely clueless about what was happening. The greedy Sterling family only ever cared about profit. There was absolutely zero chance they came. Then who came to rescue her? Could it really be him? Is he truly still alive? Imagining this sweet possibility, 2 streams of warm tears rolled down her cheeks. Years ago, in her most desperate moment, she met him. The amazing man who brought her hope, filling her world with boundless joy and pure survival instincts. You and I know what happens next. Would he really appear? Seeing Alara stay completely silent, Darius yelled furiously. Hey, I am talking. Let us dive into this wild rescue. Are you deaf? Suddenly a deafening roar echoed from the sky above. Darius frowned and looked up. 3 helicopters appeared on the horizon, speeding straight toward them. His nearly 300 goons stopped talking, staring up completely stunned. Inside the car, she heard the engines. She looked up at the sky 100 meters away, piercing through space itself. She finally saw me, a man on the helicopter, leaning right out the door, my face filled with pure anxiety. It's Kane Vance. It's the man I love. He is finally here to take me home. Ara burst into tears. A bright smile mixed with her crying, looking absolutely beautiful. She suddenly remembered the inspiring story she used to tell her little daughter. Daddy is a superhero who will fly down from the sky to punish all the bad guys. Now watch closely as this unfolds. I arrived from the sky just like her story. Unable to hold back, she bolted out like a mad woman straight toward the helicopter. She waved her arms with all her might, simply praying that I would see her. Up on the helicopter, I was crying too. Looking at her familiar silhouette below, I realized she had lost weight, but her amazing maturity was so much more evident now. But seeing her messy hair and bruised face made the pure fighting intent inside me completely explode once more. Ara, I am here, wait for me! I roared loudly. Hearing my voice, she cried out, too overwhelmed to speak, waving her arms harder. Hearing her cries, Darius snapped out of his daze, furious. Hey, drag her right back here! Arriving in a chopper meant that guy had serious backing. Darius was not stupid. Even though he messed up, his only real option now was using Ada as a hostage to avoid being an easy target. But his goons were frozen, stammering, young master. Those look like special ops. They have weapons. So what if they have weapons? This is Aquilon. You think they dare to fire at me? I am the young master of the Thorn family. They would not fire unless they wish to perish. The goons thought this made sense. The Thorn family in Aquilon was no joke. Even with weapons, would they really dare to blast a massive crowd? Thinking this, a few bold thugs immediately lunged straight toward Ada with bad intentions. At that same time, from the 2 armed helicopters, the loud sound of rifles cocking echoed everywhere. The special ops captain roared, "Descend rapidly. Protect Miss Sterling. Take out any scum that dares approach Miss Sterling. Eliminate them on the spot." Bang, 2 thugs charging at Ara were instantly struck by rifle fire, completely collapsing right there. The helicopters descended rapidly. The intense gunfire was relentless. In the blink of an eye, nearly 20 thugs surrounding Ada dropped down. But Ada could not care less about the chaos. You feel that too, right? She looked up, ignoring everything, her eyes fixed only on me, separated for 6 whole years. I was burning with deep impatience on the chopper. When the aircraft was still 10 meters above ground, I could not wait and slid rapidly down the rope ladder. Stepping into the messy chaos, I immediately ashed toward her. A few fallen thugs tried to reach out and grab me. But before they could even touch me, the Frostmark soldiers behind me took them down with quick shots. I paid absolutely no mind to the gunfire. In my eyes, there was only Sterling. Running up to her, I threw my arms open and pulled her tightly into my embrace. Is it you? It's really you, Kane Vance. I missed you, Kane. Hug me tight. Don't let me wake up from this dream. Never leave me again, okay? Ada's tears soaked my shirt. For years, she had endured such endless, painful grievances. Unlike Pip, who could cry and rely on her mother, Ada was an adult with absolutely no one to share her heavy burdens. The Sterling family considered her a huge disgrace and kicked her out. She raised Pip all by herself. Through all the terrible hardship and gossip, she proudly carried it entirely on her own shoulders. Without me by her side, she had no one to confide in. But right now, in my arms, she found that comforting sense of security she had lost for so long. My voice went hoarse as I held her tight. "It's all my fault. I was too late. If I had known earlier, I would never have let you suffer like this. Because of my special status after the incident that year, I was afraid you would be implicated, so I left quietly. I never expected that choice would lead to today. I am sorry, so very sorry. It's my fault." Listening quietly, seeing my self-blame, she suddenly smiled so warmly. She lifted her head from my chest, held my face, and kissed me fiercely. All around us was absolute chaos and fallen foes. Above us, the big helicopters hovered. In the distance, the relentless sound of gunfire continued, but nothing could stop us. We simply lost ourselves in a deep, passionate kiss. After the kiss, she glanced at the soldiers forming a human wall to protect us, then asked the question kept in her heart for so long. "After all these years, shouldn't you tell me who you really are? Don't dodge the question. Tell me, who are you? If you disappear again, no matter where you go, I will take Pip and easily find you." "So what do you and I think his next move is?" The captain reported, "Commander, some thugs are escaping. Awaiting your orders." "Stick with me, you're about to watch the wildest payback unfold." I watched those terrified thugs scrambling, then glanced at Alar's beaten face. My eyes flashed with terrifying intent. Darius Thorne absolutely cannot escape, but he cannot perish. I need him breathing. My chilling tone made everyone shiver. "Run, just run! Oh my God, they are actually opening fire. They are taking people out. Holy crap, those are real rifles, right? Actual assault rifles. Who the heck did the young master anger? This is just too brutal." Darius Thorne's goons gripped their heads, scattering in pure panic, wailing miserably, wishing they had extra legs. Just moments ago, they were laughing and joking around. Yet one single gunshot later, their buddies went down hard. An insane scene straight out of an action movie was happening right in front of them. Nobody could stay calm. They totally thought it was just a gang brawl. They assumed their sheer numbers would protect them. But the relentless gunfire completely shattered all their foolish illusions. They felt like doom was staring them down, completely paralyzed by fear. Meanwhile, Darius Thorne drove his car away, trembling uncontrollably at the wheel. Who is he? Who the heck is he? He cannot be from Accolon. Accolon absolutely does not have a powerhouse like this guy. He is actually firing. I must get home. Only home is safe. I refuse to believe anyone dares attack the Thorne family to take us out. Slamming the gas pedal, he steered his convertible off the Western Highway and onto a narrow road toward Mount Cloudfall, the absolute shortest route back home. The closer he got toward home, the brighter his eyes gleamed. The flames of revenge burned fiercely. He swore he would make me pay a heavy price. But right then, a strange sound echoed from ahead. Buster, driving the other car, shouted, "Young Master, what exactly is that loud noise?" Before he could even think, the familiar roar of helicopters echoed from the sky behind them. "Now watch this next part closely." Darius slammed the gas, speeding forward. But rounding the curve, something straight out of an action movie appeared before his eyes. He stared in absolute horror. Tank's holy mother of God, right in front of him sat an entire row of camo-painted tanks. Their long cannons lined up, completely blocking the road. Buster was totally dumbfounded. Where did tanks come from? Are they real? Why are they parked here? Did we make a wrong turn? Coming around the curve and spotting these metal beasts, Buster slammed the brakes, terrified of crashing into them. The massive tanks blocked the road completely. There was zero way through. Darius Thorne's face instantly turned ash white. Even with insane amounts of courage, he didn't dare act tough in front of these literal war machines. Seeing the tanks sit perfectly still, he slowly reversed, desperately seeking another route. Buster, pale as a ghost, stammered, "Young Master, these tanks, they could not be here for you, right? These are literal tanks. We are not at war. Who the heck could mobilize an entire tank fleet like this? Even the Thorne family cannot do this in Accolon. They must be doing military drills or something, right?" His words were not just to comfort Buster, but to desperately reassure himself. Darius whispered, trying to convince himself too. These tanks showing up out of nowhere, perfectly blocking the road home, made it truly impossible not to overthink. But the tanks could not possibly be for him. He just kidnapped someone. Helicopters were already overkill. Tanks, no way. Absolutely impossible. Thinking this, he reversed the car to keep his distance, planning to head back to the main highway and find another way back home. You and I both know what happens next. Glancing in the rearview mirror, he froze. Those familiar Mercedes cars from the scene were speeding straight toward him, barely dozens of meters away. Darn it, Darius panicked. He had just barely escaped. He could not let them catch him. They were way too ruthless. Recalling his men falling like flies, absolute terror quickly flooded his eyes. Going back meant absolute ruin. His shiny car would be totally shredded up. He swore that if he survived this mess, he would instantly buy a bulletproof car. With zero choices left, he drove toward the tanks and parked nearby. Sticking his head right out the window, he yelled out, "Hello, I am Darius Thorn, the only son of the Thorn family patriarch in Achelon. Please make way. Someone is trying to hunt me down. Just let me pass safely. The Thorn family will reward you handsomely." Just then, the top hatch of the leading tank popped wide open. Darius felt thrilled, thinking his shouting actually worked. He quickly opened his car door, ran over, and spoke hurriedly. "Big bro, I am from the Thorn family. My dad is the boss. Please move the tank and let me through. Someone is chasing me. When I get home, the Thorn family will compensate you heavily," but the soldiers stepping out of the tank acted as if they had not heard a single word. They stood straight as pillars, their eyes burning as they stared down the approaching Mercedes convoy. "Trust me, you will love this." I finally stepped out of the Mercedes. "Stick with me here." The awesome soldiers instantly raised their hands in perfect unison, loudly roaring out, "Greetings, Commander. 7th Company of this Aquilon military region reporting in, awaiting your orders." Like a massive lightning bolt hitting his brain, Darius Thorn stood completely paralyzed. Awaiting his orders, these awesome people and heavy tanks were summoned by him. He stared blankly at the massive row of colossal tanks, feeling the heavy air turn completely suffocating. I calmly returned the brave soldier's salute, then coolly announced, "I want him captured." Panicking wildly, Darius scrambled into his car to escape, but the soldiers raised their rifles, instantly shooting out his tires. They marched forward using their heavy rifles to completely smash the pristine windows of his billion-dollar supercar. Darius screamed out in total terror, wildly pounding the door, but the soldiers dragged him out like a completely helpless chicken, securely binding him. With this epic move, the daring rescue of Alar Sterling temporarily concluded perfectly. As for Darius Thorn's many lackeys, I completely defeated every single one. Those who foolishly tried fleeing in cars were stopped by the awesome helicopter gunners. The rest were easily captured by the brave soldiers left behind. Inside a mansion on Mount Cloudfall, Lucius Thorn heard the report from his subordinate, and his expression changed quite drastically. "What little Darius was captured. They have some serious nerve daring to touch my precious son. You little punk, I will absolutely ruin you." Meanwhile, at a very heavily guarded hospital, I arranged for Ara to be taken there to safely care for Pip. But here is where it gets crazy. The reckoning with the Thorn family had just begun. Out in the western suburbs, Darius Thorn kneeled on the ground, completely tied up. Despite this, he glared at me aggressively and loudly roared, "I advise you to let me go. I am Darius Thorn, the only son of the mighty Thorn family. If you touch me, they will spare zero expense to completely and utterly ruin you. You possess real power, so you should definitely know how strong the Thorn family truly is. Honestly, there is no deep grudge between us here. No need to fight until both sides are completely broken. I admit taking your girl was wrong, but I did nothing to her, and you already defeated so many of my men. We are even right. For elite society, people like us, profit is what matters most. Is one woman really worth risking our entire futures over high society rules?" I simply sneered. I turned around and ordered, "Give me a knife." A loyal Frostmark soldier immediately pulled out a heavy combat knife and respectfully handed it right to me. I took it and slowly walked toward Darius. He panicked, almost begging for mercy, but then he thought, if I show weakness, he will think the Thorn family is incredibly weak. Will he finish me right now? After a brief moment of hesitation, he yelled, "Do not think you can scare me. I am the young Thorn family master. You and these soldiers daring to hurt people is abuse of power. It is a tragedy. You are done for. If you refuse to let me go, public opinion will explode. No matter how much power you have, absolutely no one can protect you. Let me go right now. I promise the Thorn family will help cover this up so word never gets out. You really deserve to pay." You feel that tension? Before Darius could finish, a chilling scream echoed. I drove the knife straight into his lower nether regions, then swiftly pulled it out. Intense crimson energy burst out, trailing down the gleaming blade onto the floor. Darius squealed loudly like a cornered beast. I took the phone I found on him and called Lucius Thorn directly. "Darius Thorn is officially in my hands. I am giving you two choices. 1. Darius falls. Everyone involved in this completely confesses and accepts their punishment. You personally come to beg for forgiveness, and this whole matter ends. 2. You can try to avenge your son. Let us see if the Thorn family has what it takes. On the other end, Lucius Thorn's breathing grew incredibly heavy. After a long silence, he completely exploded. Who gave you the nerve to take my son? If a single hair on his head is harmed, I will chop you into 100 pieces and leave you without any trace of existence. In Aquilon, absolutely no one acts tough with the Thorn family. Who the heck are you? Are you looking for total ruin? I calmly replied. As expected, you chose the second path. Well then, you can listen to your son's voice for one last time. I placed the phone right in front of Darius, who was currently writhing in agonizing, unbearable pain. Save me, Dad. Save me, he struck me. Destroy him. You have to stop him, standing right beside him. I drove the knife directly into his chest. The blade flashed, sinking deep. Before today, I was just a scientist, a researcher who had never, ever harmed anyone. But today, including Darius Thorn, I had officially defeated 3 villains. Once you step onto this dark, shadowy path, there is zero turning back. Little Darius, how are you? Speak. What did you do to him, you monster? Answer me. What did you do to my son? Lucius desperately screamed into the phone, seemingly guessing the grim reality. I spoke very coldly. I ended his pain. And let me remind you, you chose the second path. Darius Thorn's fall is only the beginning. From now on, the Thorn family in Aquilon ceases to exist. Trust me, you and I are just getting started. Use all your power for revenge or wait for me. Oh, and I am Kaylin Vance. Stick with me here. I hung up the phone and walked away. Darius Thorn was on the floor, totally defeated, his energy completely drained and fading fast. Captain Dallas stood waiting nearby. Seeing my work was finished, he stepped up, handing me a secured USB drive. Commander, here is the absolute proof of the Thorn family's terrible wrongdoings in Aquilon. Lucius and Darius alone ruined countless innocent lives, along with huge money laundering, tax evasion, and serious bribery schemes. Why did you hide this from me earlier? I frowned, taking it. Dallas gave a nervous smile. Commander, the Thorn family's roots go deep. Not just in Aquilon, but the whole province. Rumors say they have major top-tier backing. I had to be absolutely sure we could take them down first. I couldn't risk revealing it. We only get one shot. If anyone found out I was collecting proof, taking them down would be impossible, and it could have ruined so many innocent people. I nodded, letting it go. Perfect. Broadcast an announcement across all of Aquilon. Actually make it the entire Aquilon province. Starting right now, anyone holding proof of the Thorn family's wrongdoings needs to send it directly to my inbox. I, Kaylin Vance, vow to completely erase the Thorn family in 3 days. This wild news spread instantly, throwing all of Aquilon into absolute chaos. Meanwhile, inside a highly guarded VIP conference room, Aquilon's most powerful leaders gathered together. The meeting was hosted by Elder Tobias, the famous family head. Staring at the crowd, Elder Tobias spoke in a serious tone. Everyone, you are all here, so you must know the news. Aquilon has not seen a massive shakeup like this in a very long time. Now pay attention here. We all know the Thorn family is ridiculously strong, but this mysterious Kaylin Vance who just appeared, he is absolutely no joke either. Whose side do we pick? We are all tangled in this exact same trap. Whoever we pick, we must stay completely united. This is the ultimate gamble. One wrong choice and we are finished. If anyone is honestly thinking about playing both sides, drop that idea right now. The room instantly exploded into pure noise as everyone started debating furiously. They understood the situation perfectly. The Thorn family and I had reached a breaking point where only one could remain. I was completely determined to crush the Thorn family, and anyone connected to them would fall. If they refused to back me when the Thorns finally collapsed, they would absolutely go down as collateral damage. If they picked the wrong team and lost, their life's work would just vanish into thin air. But if they chose me, Kaylin Vance, and a wild, scorched earth battle broke out, would the furious Thorn family ever spare those defectors? Historically, people certainly tried challenging the powerful Thorn family before, but their endings were always absolutely tragic. The Thorn family built their reputation step by step, battle by battle. Erasing the deep fear they planted in these elites was no easy task. The main problem was they had no clue how strong I truly was. But they knew the Thorn family's massive power all too well. Over the years, the Thorn family had basically evolved into the absolute local kings of Aquilon. You and I both know how this goes. Various industries got swallowed up entirely, yet nobody dared to speak out because the thorns were unstoppable. With just a simple wave, they could crush anyone. Honestly, who among these gathered elites did not want to finally overthrow the Thorn family? They dreamt about it, but they were absolutely terrified. If they joined my crew and I failed against the Thorn family, would they ever be forgiven? Without any doubt, the Thorn family would destroy their legacies and completely ruin them. The Thorn family had done this plenty of times. They were practically experts at ruining people. With their ridiculous power, they never even needed to hire professionals to ruin someone. Just flexing a few elite connections was enough to make rivals fall. In that meeting room, everyone was stuck in a huge dilemma, not knowing which side to choose. This was a massive gamble involving their entire futures and everything they built. The whole room buzzed intensely with heated debate. Just showing up today secretly revealed their attitude toward the Thorns. For years, the Thorn family acted completely ruthlessly, offending basically everyone in town. These elites had zero sympathy left. They only prayed the arrogant Thorn family would just collapse instantly. Almost everyone in that room held solid evidence of the Thorn family's wrongdoings, just desperately waiting for the day to use it. But fear kept them frozen. Elder Tobias smiled bitterly, looking completely helpless as he asked what they were all deciding. "We cannot delay forever. Time is running out. Just now, that old villain from the Thorn family issued a strict ultimatum. He gave me exactly 2 hours to meet him. He is forcing us to pick a side or face the brutal consequences. Damn it. He ordered me to go too. Turns out he sent a direct message to all of us. What do we do now? I really want to make that old villain pay. He treats us like what dogs? He calls we come, he shoos us we leave. He is completely pushing us right into a tight corner. So what do you and I think? Will they actually fight to the bitter end? Should they go? Surrendering is completely out of the question. Stick with me here. Siding with the Thorn family means crossing Kalen Vance, ensuring our total destruction. The Thorn family crushed us for years, and now we might actually go down with them. We only have 2 hours. That old fox purposely left us zero time to plan. We can't leave. We can't stay. What do we do? Old man Tobias finished speaking, and absolute chaos erupted. The elites felt like their heads would split open. One part of them desperately wanted to completely crush the Thorn family. But betting against them way too risky. They were completely stuck in the crossfire. Suddenly, a stunning businesswoman looked up, asking the real question. Does anyone actually know who Kalen Vance is? The Thorn family is unbelievably strong. For this guy to act so fearless, his backing must be absolutely insane. Exactly! A burly man scoffed loudly. Even if Kalen Vance has some power, how could he ever outrank the Thorn family? He is just a reckless kid acting on pure impulse, totally clueless about how the real world actually works, he added. Our intel shows his backing is not that huge. Mostly just Captain Dallas. At best, he has some basic provincial ties. But the Thorns. They have serious connections all the way in Zenith. There is no comparison. Those chilling words made everyone freeze. The Thorn family having massive influence in Zenith was exactly their biggest fear. Now watch this closely. Someone chimed in asking what if Kalen Vance also has powerful ties in Zenith? We know nothing. Kalen Vance might be hiding his true strength right now. We really should not jump to wild conclusions. Seeing the crowd shift opinions, the middle-aged guy slammed his hand on the table. Even with Zenith ties, is he genuinely stronger than the Thorns? And even if he actually is, have you considered the final outcome? When major Zenith players clash, do you seriously think they will risk absolutely everything for us bottom feeders? When the dust settles, we small fries are always the ones completely crushed. His harsh words darkened every face. They had navigated the business world for years. These clever old foxes instantly saw the trap. No matter which side they picked, a happy ending was practically impossible. So what happens next? Is there truly no alternative? Someone sighed while the man lowered his voice. Unless Kalen Vance secretly has military ties or possesses the ultimate backing of the entire nation behind his every single move, only then would the Thorn family finally lose. He shook his head slowly. But that is just pure fantasy. Who could possibly wield that much power? It sounds like a fairy tale. Just as everyone hit a wall, urgent knocking suddenly echoed. The Tobias family. Butler rushed inside, panting heavily. Patriarch, we have massive trouble. Something huge happened. What is the rush? Speak clearly. What is so big? Old man Tobias felt deeply irritated. Watching his butler panic wildly only made him angrier. The panicked butler hastily explained. Patriarch Alden Sterling just tried forcing his own daughter Alara to make Kaylin Vance personally go and apologize to the mighty Thorne family right now. You saw that coming, right? Apologize. The whole room completely froze. Alden Sterling was a respected family head with major influence in Aylin, yet he was acting like a total coward. Everyone here knew the tragic story of Alden's daughter. She was almost completely destroyed by the Thorne family's young master, and his granddaughter was brutally beaten. Their bitter grudge ran that deep. Yet Alden actually dared telling his daughter to drag her savior over to apologize to the vicious Thorne family. If she actually went, would the Thornes show mercy? Alden clearly knew the harsh consequences, yet still did it. Just because he feared the Thorne family's massive authority, he was entirely willing to throw his own flesh and kin into a fiery pit. What kind of spineless trash is he? Is he even human? I seriously thought Alden Sterling was a big deal. Turns out he is completely spineless, throwing his daughter away. If anyone touched my girl, I would risk absolutely everything to make them pay dearly. Even against the Thorne family, Alden Sterling is truly useless, gladly pushing his own child into the roaring fire. The Thorne family's son is completely gone. Does he actually think sacrificing his daughter will magically fix things? That the ruthless Thornes will forgive the Sterlings? The room erupted in pure outrage. Old man Tobias listened quietly, saying absolutely nothing. He suddenly reflected on himself. Was he not acting exactly like Alden Sterling today? He endured bitter humiliation his whole life. Was he going to remain a coward forever? His cloudy eyes suddenly turned razor sharp. He knew this was definitely his final chance to fight back. He just prayed Kaylin Vance was genuinely strong enough. As the crowd buzzed loudly, the panicked butler checked his phone and continued reporting. Patriarch breaking news. Alara totally rejected Alden's ridiculous demand. Afterward, Alden personally led his family straight to the Thorne mansion. The Sterling family publicly announced they are completely severing all ties with Alara forever. They are fully siding with the Thorne family, ready to sacrifice family bonds for absolute loyalty. So what do you and I make of this? They are joining the Thornes, using everything to destroy Kaylin Vance. Watch closely. Right after he spoke, the room went absolutely silent. The elites exchanged nervous glances, silently calculating their next moves. With the Sterling family stepping up, the Thorne family's influence just became totally unstoppable. Suddenly, a bald CEO stood up with total confidence. He announced, "I made my decision. I pick the Thorne family. Kaylin Vance simply cannot defeat this absolute giant. You all are on your own." He turned to leave, instantly refusing to waste another second. "CEO Niles, wait up. We really must discuss this." Old man Tobias was interrupted before he could even finish. The bald CEO smirked coldly. "Old man Tobias, what is left to discuss here? My mind is made up. Do you think Alden Sterling is stupid? If he openly supports the Thorne family, he definitely did a deep dive into Kaylin Vance's entire background. The Thorne family inviting us here is obviously offering us a rare opportunity. I must take it. The Thorne family remains a massive powerhouse. Kaylin Vance cannot break them, and we simply cannot afford to get on their bad side." Beep beep. Suddenly, CEO Niles heard his phone ring. At the same time, every elite's phone started buzzing. CEO Niles frowned as he checked the screen. Reading the text, he froze his face, turning totally pale. "Now pay attention." The text said Darius Thorne was defeated outside town. Cameras caught Kaylin Vance taking his men out completely. Undeniable proof. Chief Garrick ordered a massive citywide lockdown, blocking all exits and deploying the entire Accolon police force to hunt down suspect Kaylin Vance. Anyone connected to Kaylin Vance will be arrested immediately without any warning. Everyone read the crazy message, their minds going totally blank. "See, the Thorne family is striking back," CEO Niles shouted out. "What are you guys waiting for? Kaylin Vance is a wanted fugitive now. If they catch him, what happens next? He is done for daring to fight the Thorne family. Is he even worthy?" One single text plunged all the elites into sheer terror. That was the true power of the Thorne family, locking down an entire city in one instant. Whoever this Kaylin Vance was, before the clash even started, he became a wanted criminal. With a complete citywide lockdown, where could he escape? Getting caught meant ultimate doom. Even if the Emperor of Heaven descended right now, nobody could save him. The meeting room completely erupted in panic. "The Thorne family remains undisputed. We lack the strength to ever provoke them." Chief Jarrett clearly knows something big now. Even he is assisting the Thorne family. What are we waiting for? There is zero time. I must head to the Thorne family right now. The elites who hesitated moments ago now wished they could instantly teleport straight to the Thorne mansion. They did not dare delay a second longer. In a flash, only Old Man Tobias remained inside the room. He sighed heavily. What a bunch of cowards. They clearly held proof of the Thorne family's crimes, yet nobody dared to actually present it. The Thorne family simply wagged a single finger, and everyone was immediately scared out of their absolute minds. Finally, Old Man Tobias understood why the Sterling family risked everything to beg for the Thorne family's forgiveness downstairs right outside the building. Wait, did you and I just hear that? While the elites waited for cars to the mansion, someone suddenly yelled out about a strange noise. Everyone looked totally confused, then simultaneously tilted their heads upward. A massive noise was truly echoing from above. Oh my gosh, what is that? Helicopters everywhere. Why are there so many choppers? What is actually happening? Can somebody please explain why there is a massive chopper fleet? Everyone stared completely dumbfounded toward the northwest. Dozens, maybe hundreds of dark green armed helicopters were piercing the clouds, flying straight toward them. Because they flew so close, they noticed every single detail. Every chopper was packed with mobile artillery. On the left side, it clearly read Vidian Aviation. On the right side read Crimson Howlers of the Northwest. Vidian Aviation was actually famous. Every Republic rocket carried that exact name. But the Crimson Howlers of the Northwest Way, fewer people recognized that. A few smart elites trembled and muttered out loud. The Crimson Howlers of the Northwest, the ultimate legion stationed in the Gobi Desert guarding Vidia's northwestern border. They are famous worldwide, striking absolute fear into all of our enemies. Oh my gosh, what are we witnessing? Someone mumbled, shivering with fear. The Thorne family butler stood nearby, smiling smugly. You all know about the second master of the Thorne family, right? His godfather is a truly massive figure in the military sector. Now, do you finally understand why the Thorne family is so incredibly powerful? Being a member of the Thorne family, he felt so incredibly proud. Hearing this fact, boss Victor Vane almost dropped his phone in sheer terror. Armored vehicles down below, all those helicopters up high, mobilized entirely by the Thorne family. He took a sharp breath, absolutely drowning in total despair. The sheer power of the Thorne family was terrifying. They guessed correctly. These military forces actually arrived just for the Thorne family. Facing this power, trust me, you and I both know fighting them is pure madness. Stick with me here. Just earlier, they hesitated, actually thinking young Kalen Vance could challenge the Thorne family. With what power exactly? He was completely doomed. The butler's voice echoed through the phone once more. Boss Vane, witness the Thorne family's true power. Time waits for nobody. The patriarch is losing patience fast. You only get one single chance. Refuse to come and face total ruin. I know you are with the others. Tell them too. After that cold warning, the butler hung up. He kicked back on a lounger, flashing a cold smile. Those tiny insects are probably terrified beyond belief. Akalon belongs to the Thorne family. Who dares to oppose us expect absolute ruin. Boss Vane dropped his phone, completely stunned. He stiffly turned toward the other elites. You all heard what the Thorne family butler just said, right? I have no idea what you guys are planning, and I honestly do not care. But I am heading to the Thorne family right now. Hurry! He panicked and dashed straight out of the courtyard. The remaining elites shared incredibly grim, horrified expressions. They heard the butler loud and clear. Someone sighed heavily. Absolute madness. Armored vehicles below, helicopters above. The true Thorne family. Way too terrifying. Why even hesitate? I am heading to the Thorne family right now. I refuse to be destroyed. Many quickly followed suit, eyes absolutely resolute. With someone leading, more rapidly followed. Soon only Old Man Tobias and a few others remained. They exchanged incredibly shocked looks, their hearts heavy with pure sorrow and total despair. Now watch this part closely. Old Man Tobias absolutely despised those fleeing elites, but he completely understood. Staying behind meant total elimination. The Thorne family was simply too intimidating. Just seeing their military move was enough to completely shatter anyone's soul. What else could they do? The ones staying were panicked but incredibly unwilling to fold. They despised the Thorne family and completely refused to bow. That is why they never left immediately. They always dreamed of overthrowing the Thorne family, but honestly, the family never fell. Instead, they just kept growing stronger every single day. At first, they placed a tiny spark of hope in me, Kalen Vance, but that chilling call from the Thorne butler pushed them into an abyss. They finally realized they had massively underestimated the Thorne family. Their power was totally suffocating. Everyone turned toward old Tobias. Tobias, what do you think? They had always stood by him. Now they really needed his final opinion. Though they already guessed his answer, they still asked, hoping to crush that final bit of rebellion and officially end their hope. Old Tobias looked incredibly helpless. Let us go. What else is there? You should all leave too. He tried to speak but merely sighed. His body withered as he bowed his head. The crowd silently nodded and walked out the courtyard. They knew stepping through those doors meant absolutely zero turning back. From here on, they would kneel licking the Thorne family boots just to beg for survival. But they really had no other choice. Let's pause a second. Meanwhile, in a modest zenith room, a man stood by the window listening intently to his subordinate's wild report. According to the very latest intel, 7 Grand Generals of the Vidian Science Alliance, the top Minister of Security, and dozens of elite officials just landed in Akalon. Plus, the business world is moving. Over 200 CEOs with $100 billion assets and 50 chairmen holding trillion-dollar empires are rushing toward Akalon. Akalon is the storm's eye. The man was astonished. What terrifying influence! The youngest doctor of the Vidian Republic absolutely lives up to his name. Remembering something crucial, he frantically asked, "Have the Special Ops and the Northwest Crimson Howlers arrived yet?" The subordinate stayed silent before answering. Special Ops are already deployed in Akalon, but the Crimson Howlers still need time. They have not arrived yet. The man was absolutely furious. Do you not realize the absolute importance of Commander Vance and the senior academicians? No one is allowed to get hurt. If even one single person falls, the Vidian Republic suffers an incalculable loss. Understood completely. I will go urge them immediately. The subordinate nodded and quickly rushed off. At Akalon Airport, Captain Dallas led 5,000 soldiers standing in neat formation. Departing the airport, Pip had successfully returned to the Rusty Nail District per my strict arrangement. Once Captain Dallas left, I had no bodyguards around me. Minister Trenton stepped right up, standing closely behind me, officially protecting the youngest doctor in Vidian history. Guided by staff, the senior academicians of the Science Alliance and I boarded specialized vehicles, finally leaving the airport. As we drove off the airport, staff finally breathed a massive sigh of relief. Some literally collapsed, drenched in sweat. You and I just witnessed absolute madness. Every single person landing here is a legendary VIP capable of making anyone's soul tremble. Stick with me. We're diving into the absolute chaos at Akalon Airport today. The entire vibe in Akalon was shifting, which was exactly my plan. This whole city was about to be turned upside down and completely cleaned out from the top. I instantly ordered the staff to resume all flights. The airport went back to normal operations. Time was extremely precious here. As Minister Trenton stepped out, he frowned, feeling a wave of unease. Suddenly, a squad of officers marched right up to us. They barely looked at him, completely locking their serious gazes onto me, the youngest guy standing there. Their eyes totally lit up as they muttered, "Suspect Kalen Vance. It's this punk. Grab him. Do not let him escape. He is finally here." The hyped officers charged right at me. Everyone knew Chief Jarek dropped a massive bounty on my head. Seeing this, Minister Trenton's expression turned incredibly dark. Regular folks might be confused, but he knew exactly what this was, an arrest order from that scumbag Jarek. He furiously wanted to make Jarek pay for this absolute disrespect right on the spot. Seriously, he wanted to tear Jarek apart right there. Watching them rush me, I stood stunned for a second. Then I stepped up, shielding senior officials like Director Mercer. Minister Trenton furiously roared, "Stop right there!" He reached out, grabbed a cop's collar, and fiercely yanked him backward. "Who gave you the nerve to block us?" Trenton yelled. "Stop right there!" He guarded me, radiating a purely intimidating battle aura. "I want to see who dares to move today, but watch closely because you and I are seeing something wild." Wham! A massive slap landed directly on his face, making him stumble back. A bright red handprint marked his cheek. The whole place instantly dropped into dead silence. I was speechless. The 8 senior academicians were stunned. Everyone just froze. Those officials, including Director Mercer, felt like they were dreaming. Is this actually real? Did that really just happen right in front of us? What the heck? Minister Trenton got slapped. The top security minister of the entire Vidian Republic, a guy sitting right at the peak of the power pyramid, literally got slapped outside the Akalon airport. Even Trenton himself was completely dumbfounded. After a moment of pure shock, he touched his burning cheek, struggling to believe it. But the sharp pain proved this was real. Pure fury erupted. He fiercely glared at the officer right in front of him and roared, "You have massive nerve! Do you know who you just hit?" Looking super annoyed, the officer just sneered back. "Do I care who you are, blocking cops on duty? You seem pretty arrogant, huh? Cuff this guy first." Instantly, 3 officers sprinted forward, pinned Minister Trenton right to the ground, and easily handcuffed him with practiced skill. "You absolutely crazy lunatics, is there no law in Akalon? Is there no justice at all?" Minister Trenton screamed out, thrashing on the ground, but the cops completely ignored him. After locking him down, they charged at me. Everyone froze again. What did they just hear? Arrest suspect Kaylin Vance. Me, a suspect? I know exactly what you are thinking. This is completely absurd. Everyone was paralyzed, unable to react, just watching it unfold. Director Mercer was the very first to snap back. He quickly jumped in front of me and shouted, "Comrades, what are you saying?" "Him, a suspect. You have the wrong guy. He absolutely cannot be a suspect. Do you know who he is? A genius doctor of the Vidian Republic? A true hero who risks everything. You dare call him a suspect? You actually dare to arrest him? You guys have insane nerve." Director Mercer's fierce words instantly woke everybody up. The senior academicians, elite officials, and the whole entourage stepped forward to surround and protect me, especially the Grand Generals. Their eyes were ice cold, their fierce protective auras boiling, but the cops didn't care. One sneered, "Wrong person. How could we be wrong? This guy is a prime suspect linked to 3 massive crimes. We need to bring him to justice immediately. You guys definitely don't look like regular citizens. Why are you blocking our duty? Do you all want to visit the station? What is your problem? You cannot just arrest innocent people arbitrarily," Director Mercer furiously yelled back. "Arbitrarily? Yeah, right. These old fools really dare to obstruct police business. Do you realize that is illegal? What are you guys waiting for? Cuff every single one of them and bring them in." Over a dozen officers rushed forward, shoving the academicians, charging straight at me. The academicians' fury erupted, their fiery tempers flaring up. They absolutely refused to accept these guys blindly arresting me, a literal national treasure of Vidia. Amidst this chaotic struggle, I finally spoke up. "Stop, all of you." Instantly, everyone froze and all eyes locked right onto me. I glared at the officers and dropped a cold warning. "I highly advise you all to be careful. If you hurt anyone, standing here having 100 chances will not be enough for you to pay." I stared them directly in the eyes. "You want me? Fine, I'll go. But trust me, you and I know they will regret this." Mercer quickly tried stopping me. "Commander Vance, do not let them take you. Stick with me. He is the Vidian Republic's biggest asset. Treating our boy like a wanted criminal?" The absolute nerve, I shot the police officers a look, then flashed Director Mercer a super confident smile. "Some folks won't cry until they face total ruin. Do not worry, I will be completely fine. I genuinely want to see what their hidden boss thinks they can pull off here." Hearing my words, the group instantly stopped fighting back. They were clever foxes and fully understood my hidden plan. "Please stay careful, sir." Director Mercer remained noticeably worried. I was the absolute youngest genius scientist in Vidian history, maybe even globally, having delivered countless massive upgrades for our nation. Yet right now, they treated me exactly like a dangerous criminal. This was an unbelievable insult to the entire Vidian Republic. If anything bad happened to me, our country would face an astronomical loss. I just nodded, and an officer quickly slapped handcuffs on me. The cops were absolutely ecstatic, already dreaming about cashing in that huge bounty. 15 minutes later, outside the giant Akalon Security Bureau doors, Chief Inspector Jarek leaped right out of his fancy car and sprinted inside, giggling like a totally giddy little kid. Nobody could guess how incredibly thrilled this guy was getting that phone call from his team. Kaylin Vance is finally in my absolute grasp. With me finally captured, everything else was going to be super easy. Walking into the station, Jarek breezed past the older VIPs, completely ignoring them to lock eyes on me, the youngest guy here. "Kaylin Vance, haha." He laughed out loud, confirming who I was with total chaotic excitement. "You little punk. You ran away, but I finally caught you. Ha ha!" I simply closed my eyes, completely ignoring his taunts. "Now pay close attention, guys." Standing right in front of me, Jarek confidently made a phone call. On the line was the Thorne family's butler. "Chief Jarek, did you actually catch him?" Jarek nodded his head furiously. "Got him. He is at the station now." Lucius Thorne's very authoritative voice boomed through the phone line. Since you got him, do not waste time. Chief Jarek, you know exactly what you need to do, right? Of course, absolutely. Rest assured, Sir Jarek hung up the phone, shooting me an icy glare. Without a single trace of panic, his face was absolutely beaming with pride. At that exact same moment, back at the luxurious Thorne family mansion, a guy in a super wrinkled suit sprinted inside looking like a complete mess. Victor Vane finally arrived at the Thorne mansion. Busting right through the doors, he loudly shouted, Patriarch Thorne, Patriarch Thorne. I am Victor Vane, reporting in. I will firmly stand beside the mighty Thorne family. Hearing his voice, Lucius Thorne smirked mockingly, glancing over to Butler Chadwick. Enough of him. Bring Patriarch Sterling inside immediately. Butler Chadwick nodded and quickly left. Victor Vane rushed into the room, his shirt entirely soaked in sweat. Seeing Lucius Thorne, he practically cried. Oh, Patriarch Thorne, finally I get to see you. You really do not know. I was supposed to arrive earlier, but heavy armored vehicles completely blocked my path. I am so sorry to make you wait, Lucius sneered, speaking incredibly lazily. Boss, Vane, did you not inform the others? Are you actually the only one who came? Victor Vane totally froze. He did not know if the others had arrived yet. Back at the conference hall, he was so completely panicked, focused solely on running straight here. He ignored literally everything else. You and I both know he didn't dare tell Lucius he waited for the phone call with the other elites. Saying that out loud, basically asking to be totally destroyed. He frantically stammered, Patriarch Thorne. I am not entirely sure, but if they are smart, they will definitely come. Just as he finished speaking, incredibly loud noises erupted outside. 9 guys sweating profusely and looking super ragged poured into the room. Right behind them, another massive crowd arrived. Led by Butler Chadwick, the elite top brass of the Sterling family walked in too. Now the Thorne mansion literally gathered over 80% of the business tycoons in Accolon. Lucius Thorne laughed very heartily. Everyone is truly smart. Since you are here, we are one family, and family does not hide things. Let me tell you the truth. Kalen Vance was just officially arrested by the Security Bureau. He permanently eliminated 3 people easily enough for a solid conviction. Right now, Chief Jarek is personally interrogating him. Kalen Vance is truly no match for the mighty Thorne family. Hearing the news, the tycoons sighed in relief, secretly thankful they arrived perfectly in time. If they had been even slightly slower, they would be completely finished. Thankfully, they did not trust that wild kid. Otherwise, who knows how tragically they would have ended up. Kalen Vance is an absolute idiot daring to challenge the Thorne family. Everyone immediately started sucking up. Since they chose the Thorne family, they had to vigorously lick those boots with all their might. Only if the Thorne family was fully happy would they have a way to survive. Crushing them was as easy as flipping a hand for the mighty Thorne family. The tycoons were totally terrified, fully knowing my arrest was just a matter of time. Taking out 3 people, colossal nerve, offending the powerful Thorne family, totally unforgivable. So what do you and I think challenging the Thorne family brings pure humiliation? He is likely sobbing in the station right now. Patriarch Thorne's methods are truly extraordinary. In the future, we absolutely must learn a lot from you. Stick with me here. These tycoons were kissing up so hard, totally dropping their elite pride. Facing Lucius Thorne, pride meant absolutely nothing. If he wanted them gone, they were instantly finished. If he allowed them to survive, they kept breathing. They had to grovel perfectly to secure their future. Looking completely pathetic didn't matter if it kept them safe. Lucius just leaned back in his fancy chair, watching this whole circus with a smug smile. Feeling like an absolute emperor holding their fates in his hands was thrilling. But get this, he knew it wasn't time to celebrate yet. He stood up, eyed the crowd, and smirked. Since you are all here, let us talk business. You have exactly 30 minutes. Every single one of you will write a signed letter framing him. Think very carefully about the charges. The best fake story gets a prize. That made everyone freeze up. Lucius was locking them into his messy battle plans, testing their loyalty while burying me in fake charges. An absolute genius move on his part. Even if they hated it, nobody dared to fight back. After all, I was already captured. They had 0 things to stress over. Inside the mansion, Kalen Vance was basically doomed. Could he actually break free? Suddenly, one greedy tycoon threw his hand up. I have to write this. Kalen Vance brutally took out my nephew's 3rd grand uncle over in the Rusty Nail district. I am pressing charges. The other rich guys looked totally lost. CEO Niles, since when did you even have that relative? What, I have tons of relatives. Are you keeping track of my whole family tree? CEO Niles grabbed his chest, faking total heartbreak. Look, my nephew's uncle is gone. Okay, Colin, Vance is a complete monster. Another guy got mad. Oh yeah, well, the other guy who vanished was my 80-year-old grandma's favorite youngest uncle. Wait, no, I mean my son. These clowns started yelling, fighting over who could pin the craziest fake crimes on me. Watch this part closely. Alden Sterling, the quiet family head, suddenly had this wicked spark in his eyes. He turned to Butler Chadwick. Speaking of charges, our family has a perfectly logical one to offer. Uncle Silas Sterling scoffed coldly, his heart absolutely packed with pure disgust. Even as family, he knew his older brother was just way too brutal. He could easily guess what Alden was about to pull. Butler Chadwick replied coldly, Patriarch Sterling, if you have an idea, speak up. Alden looked so smug. Chadwick, 6 years ago, my daughter vanished for over half a month. When she finally came back, she was pregnant. And back then, she was hanging around Kaylin Vance. He forced himself on her. I am pressing major charges. The evidence is totally obvious, and he will never be able to deny a thing. Alden was practically glowing, so incredibly proud of his twisted idea. Uncle Silas looked furious, his whole body shaking with hidden rage. He just could not believe his own brother would throw his real daughter under the bus. Did he lack every drop of human decency? But Butler Chadwick just smirked, clapping for him. Amazing idea. Truly brilliant. Patriarch Sterling, you are destined for massive success. Uncle Silas stared at his brother, feeling like he did not even know him. Staring at all these greedy clowns, his head spun. He just wanted to escape this super toxic room right now. I know what you are thinking. Escape no way. Meanwhile, at Acolone Bureau, Kaylin gets mocked for holding out hope. Stop acting ungrateful. I want to see how long you can stay stubborn, you arrogant little kid. Do not ignore how massive the world really is. Jarek had this incredibly dark look on his face, like a stormy cloud about to burst. A nervous guard stepped up. Boss, this guy will not talk at all. If he refuses to confess what is our move, Jarek smirked. He looks pretty soft to me. If he stays quiet, I have fun methods. Go grab the spicy water. Give him exactly 30 minutes. Force that confession out. Just be super careful not to leave any bruises. The guard nodded and ran off. Over at a Zenith office. Are you totally serious? Every single person got locked up. The older guy behind the desk glared, eyes wide, radiating pure, absolute rage. His worker was sweating bullets in panic. Based on our newest intel, Minister Trenton of High Security Commander Vance and our senior staff were all grabbed by Acolone Security. Total silence hit the room. The boss jumped up, breathing heavily, eyes totally shrinking. Then his face turned super pale and he completely fainted. The terrified guard rushed to catch him, but the boss shoved him back, screaming at the top of his lungs. Did I hear that right? Some tiny local bureau dares to arrest a national genius. They dare lock up a grand general. Their ego is absolute madness. Who gave them that kind of confidence? Where are the armed forces in Aquilon? Where is our elite special ops teams? Where is the entire Aquilon police department? Where did everybody go? The poor guy just stared at the floor, totally terrified to even whisper back. You and I saw it. He had never been this incredibly furious before, right? Stick with me here. Where are the 5,000 soldiers of the Crimson Howlers? The subordinate answered. According to the absolute latest reports, the Howlers reached Acolon but haven't found Commander Vance just yet. The guy totally lost it. Useless, complete, and utter disasters. Whenever it really matters, they completely fail. Alert the Northwest Military Region Chief immediately. If any of those VIPs get a scratch, he is done. Call the Acolon Provincial Department. Give them direct orders. Fix this immediately. If anyone gets injured, they spend forever behind bars. Move, yes, Chief. Nodding frantically, the assistant sprinted right out the door. Outside, he realized every single higher-up already got the shocking news. Ministers, chairmen, and officials of all sizes were in an absolutely earth-shattering rage. This is a total earthquake, the assistant muttered, looking completely pale as he sprinted to deliver messages. Over at the Acolon airport, the poor manager looked incredibly anxious. Word just came in that another chopper was touching down, but this was a specialized combat model. He was completely freaking out. The airport had already welcomed way too many massive VIPs today, stressing him out. Just as he finally relaxed, another huge shot was landing. Who is the major boss this time? He wondered. We already welcomed Academy envoys from the Science Alliance and legendary Grand Generals. Now watch closely, who is it? He quickly arrived at the runway. Jumping from his car, he ran toward the zone. Luckily, he made it nearby. A fully armed combat helicopter successfully touched down. Stepping closer, he spotted a massive, fierce wolf emblem on its side. That single emblem gave him major chills. Being a huge military fan, he recognized the red wolf instantly. The legendary Northwest Crimson Howlers. Plus, this exact chopper belonged to the Howler Special Ops Team, the Absolute Elite Legion Squad. Every single member here was an absolute war god who crushed real enemies in actual combat. The manager shook legs, turning completely to jelly. They clearly came for Commander Vance, who had already left. He tried stepping forward with the update, but after just 2 paces, those fierce Special Ops members who stepped out literally climbed right back inside. Leaving him absolutely stunned, the helicopter immediately launched upward. Inside, the Howler operatives looked incredibly furious. Through their earpieces, a screaming voice loudly blasted, "Commander Vex, how on earth are you managing your job? Is this really how you defend your VIP target? Commander Vance and every single national treasure have just been arrested." Vex, the leader of the Special Ops team, bowed his head in heavy guilt. "This is completely our fault for letting you down so badly. We are deploying right now to properly secure Commander Vance and the others. Please rest easy, rest easy. You and I both know that is impossible. Relax. What if something horrible happens to them? National scholars and legendary generals getting arrested on day 1. This is an unbelievable embarrassment. Zenith just dropped an ultimatum. Rescue them. If anyone is injured, your careers are over." The radio voice abruptly cut off. Vex gripped his fists, his expression incredibly dark. "This is absolute rebellion. Who gave them the nerve to arrest a scholar, handcuffing a grand general, a tiny security bureau acting this wild? Do they think the Vidian Republic laws are just a complete joke?" The other Special Ops members dropped their heads, overflowing with intense anger and guilt. If they landed sooner, this total disaster never would have happened. If Vance or those national treasures suffered even a scratch, these soldiers would regret it for their entire lives. They absolutely despised the Akalon Security Bureau. Some tiny inspector actually dared issue a warrant for Vidia's most legendary scholar, daring to arrest envoys and generals. They treated Vidian law like absolute worthless garbage. Commander Vex shot up and furiously roared, "This incident deeply shames the entire Howler squad. Go rescue them right now and reclaim our absolute honor." Over in the Rusty Nail district, Captain Dallas turned completely pale. He just got the terrifying news Vance was officially detained by the Security Bureau. The senior Academy envoys were literally handcuffed. Seriously, what on earth are those absolute fools thinking? Pure garbage. Dallas looked like his soul totally left his body. He just promised the commander's wife everything was perfectly fine. Yet right after he left, the VIP got arrested. His phone blared. A furious voice screamed, "Where are the station troops? Rush the Security Bureau and extract them right now. If Vance or anyone gets a single scratch, all of your careers are completely over. Trust me, we are not done." The call dropped, leaving Dallas completely frozen. Absolute panic completely washed over him, leaving him full of endless regret. If he hadn't left their side, this total disaster never would have happened. Stick with me here. You will not believe the nerve of this Security Bureau. Do they even realize the absolute disaster they just sparked? Captain Dallas knew the whole city of Akalon was doomed. Anyone daring to harm the commander would pay dearly. Nobody could save them. Suddenly, Miss Sterling completely collapsed to her knees. Captain Dallas panicked and quickly held her up. Seeing Ella looking so pale, his guilt skyrocketed. This was totally his fault. Ella trembled, hugging little Pip, crying heavily. "Captain Dallas, tell me what happened to Kalen. Seriously, what happened to him?" Even from far away, she heard the terrifying news. Overwhelmed, she just hugged Pip and wept quietly. Ella sobbed, feeling heartbroken. She had just reunited with him, the man she patiently waited years for. But right now, he faced terrible danger. She never wanted to lose him again. If that happened, she would completely shatter. Seeing her mom cry, little Pip also burst into tears. But this brave kid was so understanding, crying while gently comforting her mother. "Mommy, just trust Daddy. Daddy will be fine. Daddy is super amazing. He will absolutely be safe. Mommy, please do not cry. If Daddy sees, he will be sad." Pip opened her huge, sparkling eyes, looking at Captain Dallas while sniffling. "Uncle Dallas, where exactly is my daddy? I want him." The sweet little girl cried even louder, making Captain Dallas feel incredibly guilty and absolutely furious. He felt deeply ashamed for letting Commander Vance get captured right under his nose, totally betraying the nation's trust. The loyal soldiers behind him were equally enraged, their eyes glowing crimson. Now pay attention. They wanted to charge straight into that security bureau and deliver a harsh lesson. Looking down at Sweet Pip, Captain Dallas got incredibly serious. Little Pip Uncle totally promises to bring your dad back safely. Okay. He stood up, roaring at his shocked teammates. What are you standing there for? Check your gear. We march on the security bureau immediately, inside the Accolon Security Bureau. Over in a dark corner of the bureau courtyard, Minister Trenton was brutally restrained by two cops hung from an interrogation rack, his feet dangling off the ground. One furious officer barked, still refusing to talk. I am about to use the torture tools. Just sign this confession and everyone's life gets easier. Minister Trenton's sharp face was as cold as ice. He did not say a single word. Sign a confession in your wild dreams. Seeing his bold stubbornness, the cop flared right up. Fine. No torture then, no talking right. Nearby, a few other officers were whispering. This guy looks familiar. I feel like I have seen him somewhere. Yeah, me too, but no way. Now I know what you are thinking. Suddenly, General Torrin, the legendary Northern Guardian, was dragged into the courtyard. His strong face was totally battered, his hands tightly cuffed. Seeing poor Minister Trenton hung up like a piece of meat, General Torrin's expression turned terrifyingly dark. He loudly roared, "This is absolute rebellion! Do you even realize what you are doing?" He could not believe it. These lowly cops actually dared to act this insanely outrageously. The arrogant cop holding General Torrin sneered big talk. Huh? Do you seriously think this is a place where you get a say? Shut your mouth, General! Torrin fell completely silent for a second, then suddenly turned his head, glaring daggers at the arrogant cop. He slowly lowered his dark voice. Kid, do you even know who I am? Do I care? You guys are obviously all colluding together here. Everyone asks that exact same stupid question. Are you totally sick in the head? Who are you, General? Torrin finally spoke completely cold. The Guardian of the North. Do you understand I am General Torrin? What? The smug cop immediately burst out laughing. You claim you're the legendary General Torrin. You've got massive guts. Why would a big shot like that ever come to this tiny little bureau? General Torrin stayed incredibly calm. Normally I would not, but today I did. To simply sum it up, every single one of you is completely finished. The smug cop mocked him. Whether I am finished, I don't know, but you are absolutely finished right now. Just confess already and save yourself all the pain. Under these tools, even if the Emperor of Heaven himself came down, he'd be screaming. Fine. If you have the guts, use the tools. General Torrin just sneered. He turned to Minister Trenton. Minister Trenton, did you hear that these absolute fools actually want to use heavy torture on us? Minister Trenton's face was as dark as a pot's bottom. He simply stayed perfectly silent. Right at this moment, Chief Inspector Garrick strutted confidently into the courtyard. Looking at the two men, he barked loudly, still not talking. Excellent! Bring the tiger chair out. Let's see if you can stay stubborn sitting on that. Suddenly, a massive commotion loudly erupted outside. What's happening? Why all the crazy noise? Garrick frowned, visibly irritated. A panicked cop screamed, Get back! A heavy car roared like a wild beast, smashing the bureau's front gate to pieces and charging straight inside. The heavy car did not stop. It violently rammed its way all the way to the interrogation room door. Trust me, you'll want to see this. The car door flew open, a man bolted out but completely froze. Garrick stared at the man. His face went totally pale, legs shaking like crazy. A nearby officer shouted, Who are you? You have some serious nerve. Let's dive into the craziest mistake ever. Garrick's expression instantly twisted into pure, absolute horror. He swung hard, violently slapping the screaming officer across the face. You fool! Do you realize who this is? Turning to the shaking boss, his lips quivered. Commissioner Lyle. Why are you here? You should have warned me to prepare. Garrick was absolutely petrified. He never imagined the provincial boss Commissioner Lyle showing up right now, especially after his guy just totally insulted him. Hearing that, the officers' hearts froze. This is Commissioner Lyle. They immediately bowed down, too scared to look. The loudmouth officer who yelled earlier went completely pale, looking ready to pass out right then and there. What did I do? I just screamed at the highest provincial boss. He seriously wished he could slap himself unconscious. All that arrogant swagger vanished instantly. The officers looked exactly like scared little puppies hiding their tails. But Lyle completely ignored those nobodies. His eyes stayed glued to Minister Trenton hanging on the rack. Messy hair, ripped shirt, bruised face and hands. Then he stared at General Torrin on the ground. Bruised face, cuffed hands, glaring back with absolute fury. Commissioner Lyle was totally stunned. Shaking uncontrollably, he recognized Minister Trenton. And that other man, even without knowing him, he was obviously a massive VIP. His legs turned to jelly. Dropping down, he panted heavily, nearly fainting. Jarek looked totally confused. He just could not understand why Lyle was overreacting this intensely. Now pay attention. Staring at those two men, pure dread washed over him. What on earth is happening? He quickly snatched some medicine from an officer to help out his boss, but Lyle aggressively shoved him right away. Pale as a ghost, Lyle literally crawled straight toward Minister Trenton, crying out loudly, "Minister Trenton, I failed my duty. Let me untie you right now," Minister Trenton replied coldly. "Commissioner Lyle, you did a fantastic job. Your men are phenomenal too. Let me tell you straight, there is zero excuse here. You are completely finished." Lyle gulped, sweat pouring down his face like a massive waterfall. His mind was completely spinning. Seeing Lyle panic, Jarek quickly tried stopping him. "Commissioner, do not release him. He is not Minister Trenton. He is an accomplice of suspect Kaylin Vance. We are in the middle of interrogating them." Lyle almost had a total mental breakdown. "I must have awful karma to get a guy like you. What did I do wrong?" He ruthlessly slapped Jarek across the face. He roared, "Jarek, do you realize your mistake? Open your blind eyes and see who you arrested. Do you even know who these people are?" He kicked Jarek to the ground, then frantically untied Minister Trenton in a complete panic. "Minister, please be careful." But Trenton ignored him completely, just pointing over at General Torrin. "This is the Guardian of the North. General Torrin, the absolute Northern Guardian." Lyle broke into a cold sweat, paralyzed with sheer terror. A National Guardian General, a founding pillar of the Republic. Jarek, who just stood up, heard this and collapsed again. His mind went entirely blank. "You and I saw this coming." The cops froze like statues, pure terror hitting them. "What did we do?" The two officers who arrested Torrin were shaking violently, hearts hammering wildly. They literally cuffed a legendary 4-star general. They remembered their own mocking words, "You are a general, I am the emperor." Those exact words echoed, bringing utter despair. Yeah, taunting a 4-star general definitely ends well for normal cops. Interrogating a general, that crime guaranteed they were totally finished. There was no way out. Lyle rushed over, instantly, carefully helping Torrin stand up. "General, sir, are you all right?" He was terrified to the core. A real general. What kind of godly status was this? He frantically snatched the keys to quickly unlock Torrin's heavy cuffs. General Torrin spoke with pure ice. "Commissioner Lyle, your officers are truly impressive. They dare cuff a minister and attack a general truly formidable." Everyone heard the boiling rage hidden in his dark voice. Drenched in sweat, Lyle fumbled clumsily. He kept his head bowed low, completely terrified to ever meet the general's fierce eyes. Torrin's voice turned to ice. "What are you just standing there for? Academician Vance is also locked up in this exact building." Hearing that, Lyle's vision went completely pitch black, collapsing straight onto the floor. So what do we take from this? Kaylin Vance, the youngest academician, locked inside a holding cell? Let us dive into this wild mess. Commissioner Lyle never expected to find me here. He spun around, giving Jarek a totally devastating, furious glare. If looks could vaporize someone, Jarek would have vanished 1,000 times. Commissioner Lyle dashed into the interrogation hall and completely froze. Right before him stood a group of white-haired elders, all 70 or 80. Instantly, his face turned completely pale. These were definitely not your average old men. They were senior academics of the Vidian Science Alliance, massive legends of science famous both locally and globally. And yet here they were, totally trapped inside dark and windowless police interrogation rooms. Commissioner Lyle felt like he could not breathe. The only good news was that these academics seemed totally unharmed and wonderfully calm. If anything happened to them, 9 lifetimes would not be enough to fix his epic mess. He walked deeper, reaching the final interrogation room. I was sitting right there, legs crossed, perfectly calm. Hearing those frantic footsteps, I looked up and smiled at Commissioner Lyle. He instantly recognized who I was. I was Kaylin Vance, the youngest legendary scientist in the Vidian Republic. Commissioner Lyle bowed deeply, drowning in guilt. Academician Vance, I am Lyle, the Provincial Police Commissioner of Akalon. I truly apologize for making you suffer. He spun around and roared down the hallway. Jarek, Are you sleeping? Bring the keys and open this door now. This is sheer absolute madness. Do you have any idea who you just locked up? Out in the courtyard, Jarek heard the roar and scrambled up. Looking at Minister Trenton and General Torrin, he fell into total despair. Now he completely understood who he had arrested. A powerful minister, a general, and those people inside were absolutely very important people too. But right now, whether he released them or not, he was completely and utterly ruined. Suddenly, a wild, desperate light flashed deep in Jarek's eyes. If I drag Commissioner Lyle down and force Kaylin to confess, I might actually survive this. He ran forward, screaming. Commissioner Lyle, no, stop. Jarek was practically in total tears. Commissioner Lyle, they are all criminals, especially Kaylin Vance. He completely eliminated 3 people in Accolon, including the Thorne family's only beloved son. Right now, if we just force Kaylin Vance to confess, this whole nightmare will end. Trust me. As long as he confesses with Thorne family backing, we will earn massive rewards. Jarek completely lost his chief inspector mind. Kneeling on the ground like a dog, his hair a mess, he babbled pure insanity. Watch closely. Did he seriously think those armed helicopters, tanks, and armored vehicles were from the Thorne family? And not by academician Vance's forces. General Torrin could not hold it and burst out laughing. Commissioner Lyle looked back and saw those senior academics and the general laughing hard, their eyes full of pure mockery. He was not stupid and instantly understood Jarek got totally played. Those vehicles definitely did not belong to the Thornes. The Thorne family lacked even a fraction of that power. They came for me, Kaylin Vance. Unable to bear this madness, Commissioner Lyle stared at Jarek, wanting to cry and scream. You absolute fool! Who told you those were the Thorne family's people? You are a chief inspector and you got played like an absolute fiddle. Jarek was completely dumbfounded. What, I was tricked? It was not the Thorne family. He actually called them here. He sucked in cold air, nervously looking at Minister Trenton, the amazing academics, and the intimidating general. You and I both know that look. They were smiling like they were staring at a pathetic little bug. Impossible, Jarek thought, nearly losing his sanity. How could this be? He is just a kid. How does he know these legends? How does he hold such terrifying power? Before he could panic more, Commissioner Lyle roared, Why stand there? Release them all right now. Jarek stumbled to his feet, staring at me while I remained completely relaxed. He shook his head desperately, begging Commissioner Lyle, if I release them, you absolutely have to save me. I cannot fail now, release them. We are out of time. Commissioner Lyle was on the verge of a total mental breakdown. During this chaotic tug of war, the deafening chop of helicopter blades echoed loudly from above. Everyone looked up. A massive helicopter circled above. Before landing, several fully armed soldiers roped down into the courtyard. In a flash, they subdued every single police officer in the yard. Everyone watched absolutely horrified. Who are they? This combat power is terrifying. The intense squad leader stepped forward. Seeing this epic scene, Commissioner Lyle stumbled back and collapsed onto the ground, his throat feeling like it was completely crushed. Jarek stammered in fear. Before finishing, a massive chill hit him and he fell pathetically. So what do you and I make of this madness? Stick with me, everything happened so fast. The elite squad had not attacked. Just their raw, intense aura alone was enough to absolutely terrify both Lyle and Jarek. The elite squad leader completely ignored them, though. He marched straight toward that interrogation room. Then he bowed deeply and respectfully to me. I am Commander Vex, captain of the Crimson Howler Special Ops Team from the Northwest Crimson Howlers. Please punish me, Commander. Boom. Every single person was totally stunned. Minister Trenton's eyes totally lit up. No wonder they are incredibly strong. Crimson Howler soldiers, and not just your average soldiers either. The elite Special Ops Team, the Legion's absolute trump card. He honestly never expected those higher-ups to deploy this elite force. It showed exactly how much they valued me. If it was just him and the generals, the higher-ups never would have sent this team. The reason was quite simple. Their clearance level was too low. Commander Vex continued, Commander, we completely failed our miserable duty. Please punish us today. Those other Special Ops members completely rushed in, echoing in perfect unison, Please punish us. If they arrived sooner, this dramatic mess would never have happened. If I got hurt, 10 of their lives would never be enough to properly atone. They fully understood my immense importance to the Vidian Republic and those truly colossal contributions I made over the years. Jarek, who just barely managed to stand up, heard Crimson Howler Special Ops Team and almost collapsed again. The absolute core legendary force of the massive Vidian Republic. He honestly could not believe it. He watched me totally calm, like absolutely nothing could ever shake me. Now pay attention here. Just how terrifying is his background to stay this composed? Could the Thorne family even dream of fighting this? Outside the security bureau, massive engine roars suddenly exploded. Jarek panicked completely. Who else is coming? In mere moments, the heavy thuds of rapid footsteps approached, sounding like absolute doom to him. He screamed internally, "Why are there still so many more people?" What is even happening? Captain Dallas led the local special ops forces alongside a massive wave of fully armed soldiers storming right in so aggressively. Those cops guarding the outside were already tied up and quickly escorted behind them. As soon as Captain Dallas entered, he frantically searched for me. Seeing me locked inside an interrogation room, his face totally drained of color. He sprinted over and bowed his head. "Commander, I sincerely apologize. We totally failed to protect you from suffering." He fiercely turned around and roared. Which fool dared to arrest the commander? After venting his intense rage, he finally noticed the surroundings. Looking at 7 fully armed Special Ops members, he was completely astounded. The Crimson Howler Special Ops team, absolute legends, are here. He never thought he would see this team in his lifetime. But thinking about me, he found it perfectly normal. After all, I am Kaylin Vance. It made total sense for the higher-ups to send their absolute best. Seeing Captain Dallas tense, I smiled. "Do not worry, I am fine. How is the little one?" Speaking of this, my eyes turned razor sharp. Captain Dallas didn't dare meet my gaze. He just kept his head bowed down. "Commander, the madam and the child are safe." Hearing this, my expression finally softened. I ordered in a deep voice, "Commander Vex, release the academicians and everyone else." "Yes, Commander." Commander Vex stepped forward, grabbed Jarek by the collar and physically dragged him right over. Jarek trembled, not daring to resist. Sir, you are Chief Jarek, right? Good for you. You still don't know who you arrested." A special ops member quickly snatched his keys and unlocked those interrogation room doors. As the doors finally opened, 2 soldiers stepped in and carefully helped Academician Mercer outside. The moment Academician Mercer appeared, every single soldier in the courtyard snapped right to attention. They shouted in unison, "Greetings, Academician. You and I saw that coming, right?" But the massive shocks were far from over. The senior academicians were gently helped out one by one. Captain Dallas then announced sternly, "President of the Astrophysics Division of the Vidian Science Alliance. Comrade Beatatrick Quinn, you have really suffered. President of the Astronomical Defense Research Association of the Vidian Science Alliance. Comrade Gideon Vance, you have suffered." Every time Captain Dallas read an academician's name, Jarek's heart violently shuddered. The people he arrested were not bodyguards. They were the absolute top leaders of Vidian science. At this very moment, Jarek finally realized he triggered an apocalyptic disaster. "I am completely finished." He finally understood exactly why so many fully armed soldiers appeared and why the higher-ups deployed such a massive force. Even the legendary Crimson Howlers came. Commissioner Lyle wildly trembled, practically suffocating. Even though he knew the academicians held high status, he didn't expect them to be the supreme leaders of the Vidian Science Alliance. Literal national treasures, scientific monuments, and a tiny chief inspector like Jarek actually dared to completely arrest them. This was a scandal that would shake the heavens. So what do you and I learn? Commissioner Lyle absolutely despised Jarek now. Listening earlier would have easily prevented this disaster. Stick with me here, you are about to witness an absolute villain hit total rock bottom. Within seconds, Captain Dallas pulled everyone to safety. Lyle barely dared to breathe. These people were literal legends of the Vidian Republic. Dallas violently grabbed Jarek by the collar, growling loudly, "Look really closely. You claimed you had no clue who they were. Let me introduce them." He pointed at Trenton. "Meet the Supreme Security Minister of our entire republic." He shifted, pointing to Torin. "And this powerhouse is the ultimate Northern Guardian General Torin." With every single heavy name drop, Jarek's spirit completely shattered just a bit more. He seriously just locked up the Republic's top VIPs. Right now, he absolutely wished he could just vanish forever. After the epic introductions, Captain Dallas personally escorted me out. Jarek stared wide-eyed at me, finally realizing everything. All those military choppers, tanks, and elite special forces were summoned just for me. A 20-something kid, even without knowing my true rank, he knew his career was totally finished. People facing their ultimate end usually lose it. Realizing he had zero escape options, Jarek completely stopped begging. His furious eyes turned completely red as he screamed like a maniac. "Kane Vance, Who exactly are you? Tell me. Captain Dallas delivered a brutal kick straight to his gut, sending him flying across the room. Elite soldiers rushed forward, pinning him down hard, but he kept screaming hysterically. Kane Vance, who are you? Tell me. Jarek completely lost all remaining dignity as a chief inspector. Watch closely, guys. He is barking like crazy, and Commissioner Lyle is begging to know my real identity. Despite serving as provincial commissioner for years, he had never ever witnessed such pure madness silently making wild guesses. Academician Mercer finally stepped up. You really want to know who he is? Listen closely. He is literally the absolute youngest and smartest genius scientist in the Vidian Republic. He pushed our science forward by leaps and bounds, placing us at the world's very peak. He is the ultimate peerless scholar, the Republic's absolute youngest national treasure. The second he finished, the courtyard went totally silent. Every single eye locked onto me, fully packed with pure awe and ultimate shock. The peerless scholar, the Republic's youngest national scholar, Jarek, snapped back to reality, but his sheer panic multiplied. I was way more terrifying than he ever imagined. Barely 20 outranking guys twice my age as a fully titled national scholar, he pictured the arrogant Thorne family and instantly realized they were the planet's absolute biggest joke, foolishly daring to mess with a VIP like me. Who gave them the nerve? He recalled Butler Chadwick's smug claims about those choppers belonging to the Thorne family. Jarek now regretted absolutely everything to his very core. Why didn't he just listen to Commissioner Lyle? Why blindly trust the Thorne family? If he had listened earlier, none of this epic disaster would happen. Regret was completely useless now. He screamed, I was forced. This was entirely the Thorne family's conspiracy. They made me do it. Lucius Thorne is the real mastermind. Captain, Dallas replied coldly. I know what you guys are thinking. Blaming the Thornes. Yeah, they are awful, but Dallas coldly reminds Jarek this whole massive disaster is his own fault. You got a real chance, but you totally blew it. Just stop wasting your breath. Commander Vex aggressively stepped forward, stomping heavily on Jarek. He growled, disrespecting a national scholar inside the Vidian Republic carries the absolute ultimate punishment. Hearing about that ultimate punishment, Jarek completely lost his absolute mind, his brain spinning totally out of control. He was a hotshot chief inspector with a glowing future. Everything was perfect. Yet simply for wrongly arresting me, he was now facing total destruction. No, I do not want to vanish. Spare me, the Thorne family. Lucius Thorne is the real villain. Do not do this, Jarek burst into tears, sobbing a total river. If he had only known earlier, he never would have done it. Captain Dallas sharply barked. Jarek, you brought this entirely upon yourself. In the Republic, arresting a national scholar is directly equivalent to high treason. The ultimate punishment is letting you off easy. Jarek's lips violently trembled as he desperately crawled forward, hugging my leg and begging, Mr. Vance, please, just spare me. I had no clue who you were. You are incredibly generous. Just treat me like total trash and please let me go. As long as you let me survive this, I will do anything you want. Please just spare my pathetic existence. Suddenly, a terribly sharp stench of ammonia completely filled the air. Jarek was so insanely terrified he literally peed his own pants. So much for a tough guy, but he did not care. Eyes glued to me, begging endlessly. Commander Vex looked totally disgusted. Why are you standing there? Drag him away. Do not let him pollute our eyes. Two soldiers stepped forward and dragged Jarek away. He was totally done. Commissioner Lyle's face turned completely white, absolutely terrified for his own future fate. He just prayed nobody would notice him hiding. But the more you fear something, the faster it actually hits you. Every eye, including mine, focused right on him. Lyle jumped frantically, justifying himself. I am innocent. Believe me, he cries. But trust me, you and I both know my cold stare means zero mercy for him. Listen up, we are jumping right in. Did you order Jarek to arrest me? Absolutely not. Lyle shook his head. I am totally innocent. Right after Minister Trenton called, I immediately gave Jarek the notice. Who could have ever guessed that jerk would ignore your family and scheme with the Thornes to create this mess? Look, Commander Vance, I am the commissioner. I messed up on oversight, sure, but I never gave that crazy order. Honestly, the guy was terrified enough to faint on the spot. This was a massive, unforgivable crime. Giving him a super sharp side eye, I seriously asked, do you have any ties to the Thorne family? No way! Lyle fired back instantly. I have never interacted with the Thorne family. Zero connection whatsoever. You can investigate me completely. Seeing his firm resolve, I softened my tone. If Commissioner Lyle truly has zero connection to the Thorne family, you may leave. We will handle your total failure of duty later. Turning straight to Commander Vex and Cam Dallas, I ordered, immediately send the armed helicopters to the Thorne family mansion. Today I refuse to let even a single fly escape the Thorne family. Yes, Commander. Commander Vex and Captain Dallas nodded, their intense, fierce energy surging toward the sky. Everyone shivered. They knew the Thorne family was completely, utterly finished. Commissioner Lyle exhaled deeply, celebrating his incredibly lucky escape. He silently thanked his lucky stars. Tangling with the arrogant Thorne family would have meant his absolute ruin. Seriously, compared to Commander Vance, what the heck was the Thorne family at their fancy mansion? Meanwhile, the Thorne mansion was livelier than ever before. Accolon elites gathered, totally enjoying a super cheerful atmosphere. Lucius Thorne laughed loudly, watching the bowing tycoons, feeling just like a literal emperor. In Accolon, he held absolutely supreme power. After today, the mighty Thorne family would wield absolute control. Now watch this closely. Dreaming of a perfectly glorious future, he got incredibly hyped until roaring helicopters echoed above. But those courtyard elites weren't afraid. Actually, they stood tall with extreme pride. They totally assumed these choppers belonged to the Thorne family coming to protect them. Standing inside the mansion, they fully felt like part of this absolutely unstoppable powerhouse team. They felt totally untouchable. But suddenly an elite pointed upwards, completely trembling. Hey, look, what is that? Everyone glanced up, eyes widening fast. A massive black artillery shell was screaming through the air, heading directly for the Thorne mansion. An artillery shell, don't just stand there, run. The cheerful courtyard instantly plunged into absolute chaos like a kicked anthill. Terrified people scrambled everywhere. Patriarch, what is going on here? Why are shells dropping on the Thorne family? Butler Chadwick sprinted fast toward the tea pavilion, screaming loudly as he ran. Amidst the wild screaming, the massive shells struck. Boom. An earth-shattering explosion totally shook the sky. The whole mansion quaked like a crazy earthquake hit. But it missed the main courtyard. It landed right outside the main gates. Clearly, this was a massive warning shot, an act of pure intimidation. Staring at the crater, everyone was completely horrified. If that shell had landed inside, they would all be completely finished. Nobody could understand it. This was the mighty Thorne family. How could they get attacked? Patriarch Thorne, what exactly is happening here? All eyes turned to Lucius Thorne. But honestly, at this moment, the guy himself looked bewildered. You and I saw this coming, but he just stared blankly, totally unable to process. Someone actually dared to fire an artillery shell at the Thorne's pure audacity. Amidst his growing rage, a massive mechanical rumbling suddenly echoed loudly from the mountain base. Now what is it? An earthquake. What is going on? The whole mansion was pure pandemonium. People just could not react fast enough to these rapid events. Glancing down the mountain, their expressions instantly warped into pure horror and dread. Someone loudly screamed. Someone broke into heavy tears. Dozens of tanks and hundreds of armored vehicles aggressively marched up. These incomers meant serious business, radiating an absolutely overwhelming, fierce aura. What were they planning to do? Did you not say these were Minister Huxley's people? Why did they shoot an artillery shell? What are these vehicles going to do? Lucius's wife screamed, shaking. Lucius, do not just stand there, call Minister Huxley. Elites like boss Victor Vane were dumbfounded. Vane's heart pounded wildly as he nervously stuttered, Patriarch Thorne, what did your side say? You mean you never confirmed if these helicopters, tanks, and armored vehicles were mobilized by the Thorne family? This is no time for jokes. The elites panicked. Lucius loudly barked at Victor Vane, you dare doubt the absolute power of the Thorne family. There must be a misunderstanding. Let me make a call. Despite his outward calm, a super heavy sense of dread rose in his heart. Trust me, you will want to stay, seeing him call now. Tycoons turned pale. As he dialed, his panicked mind completely raced. Stick with me here, could Kalen Vance really be doing this? No way. A 20-something kid having this much insane power, he wanted to believe his big brother did this. You know, the one who married straight into the super powerful Huxley family? But his hands shook wildly while the entire crowd stared at him. The call connected. A voice answered. Lucius panicked and asked Big Bro, hundreds of armed helicopters, a massive fleet of armored vehicles and actual tanks just rolled up into Accolon right now. That was all you're doing, right? It just has to be you. The other end went completely silent. All the rich tycoons tensed up, feeling super anxious. A whole minute passed. Nothing. Lucius felt his eye twitching. He nervously pressed Big Bro, say something. Your maneuver, right? Finally, the voice replied. Lucius, did you catch a fever and lose your mind? Like a massive thunderbolt, everyone was absolutely stunned. At this point, everyone finally realized what was happening. A total fake, completely fake. Those helicopters, tanks, and special ops forces definitely did not belong to the Thorne family. They weren't here to help out. They came to destroy them. Now watch closely. Big bro, what do you mean Lucius could barely breathe? His brother didn't mobilize those forces. He was terrified. What do we do now? The Thorne family just caused an absolute disaster. Hundreds of helicopters are literally surrounding their massive mansion right now. We literally just got blasted by an artillery shell. We are finished. The family's over. What? The voice on the phone totally panicked. Artillery shells dropping on your family, you idiot. I warned you to be careful, to show some respect. You ignored me. Now look what happened. You angered someone you should have never messed with. You are dragging the entire Thorne family down to ruin, and me too. Lucius didn't even dare to argue back while getting totally roasted, his body trembling violently. He stammered, "Big bro, I swear I will listen from now on, but now is not the time. You really have to save the Thorne family. Please save me. Your godfather is the deputy commander of the East Sea Military Region. Beg him to help out our family. I will pay absolutely any price. Big bro, we are completely out of time. You are a Thorne family member too. You cannot just sit back and watch us get destroyed." The furious voice practically roared back, "Now you beg for my help. What did I say when I warned you before? Call my godfather. Do you honestly think it is that easy? Look at those forces outside. Jets, tanks. What could a provincial deputy commander even do here? You want him to throw his career away against those forces? What even is our family? Do you think everyone is as mindless as you?" Lucius was shocked awake by the intense scolding. His big brother was totally right. I know what you're thinking. Against massive VIPs, the Thorne family was just a tiny ant. Who would risk offending a true powerhouse for them? Even if his godfather stepped in, it would not change a single thing. Authority reaching the sky, insane power that could literally flip clouds and summon rain, the Thorne family was nothing. He understood. The Thorne family was doomed. No one could save them. Thinking about it more, he just grew even more absolutely terrified inside. Finally, he screamed out like a total madman. "Big bro, what do we do now? Is there no other way?" His brother barked. "You only ask now. Run away. Leave absolutely everything behind. Bring nothing. Come to Zenith. I will figure something out." Lucius froze. Too late. We cannot run anymore. Suddenly, as he spoke, the massive mansion quaked. "What is wrong, Lucius? Why can't you run? Tell me." His brother's voice sounded frantic, but Lucius stayed silent. His eyes were glued to the outside. 2 massive tanks had already rolled into the courtyard. Dozens more completely surrounded the entire perimeter. The intense pressure was totally suffocating. The huge mansion fell into complete chaos. Nobody had ever seen a crazy scene like this. Ghostly pale faces. People ran around wildly. The beautiful courtyard was wrecked. Loud screams and cries echoed everywhere. Alden Sterling, head of the Sterling family, stared at those tanks totally dumbfounded and incredibly terrified. Why are there so many tanks? Who on earth did the Thorne family anger to warrant a literal war? This is pure insanity. He trembled, finally realizing his absolute colossal mistake. Just as he was totally panicking, loud helicopter roars echoed again. Alden looked up, his pupils shrinking as his expression completely changed. Countless armed paratroopers were jumping from planes like a bee swarm, diving straight down. Alden's face was completely drained of all color. He trembled. "Crazy! This is absolute madness!" Lucius Thorne also felt some serious, utter despair. Helicopters and tanks were not enough. Now armed paratroopers, too. What do we do? His wife collapsed next to him, wildly screaming. "The Thorne family is finished! Lucius, say something, we must run." Lucius didn't answer. He just slumped right to the ground, letting out a miserable, hollow laugh. Planes taking over the sky, tanks rolling on the ground, and armed soldiers. The massive mansion was sealed incredibly tight. So where could they possibly run? He looked around. His wife, the once super proud matriarch, was now rolling on the ground, crying. "That's where we leave it. Let's jump in, those super arrogant elites. Right now they are totally kneeling, begging for mercy, hiding like little mice or just fainting away." Akelin's fancy high society suddenly looked like completely defenseless little lambs today. The huge Thorne mansion was totally wrecked. Cries echoed everywhere, and absolutely everyone went completely crazy. Bang, 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 3 loud shots echoed. The entire courtyard fell totally silent. Nobody dared to move a single muscle. An officer stomped right in and yelled, "Everyone, hands on your heads, kneel. Anyone moving gets a swift blast." Boss Victor Vane completely lost his temper in a wild frenzy, jumping up and angrily pointing right at him. He screamed out loud, "You fool, did you eat a tiger's courage? Do you know where we are? This is Akalon." He grabbed a pot and aggressively charged. Bang, a single shot echoed, completely shocking everyone. The officer instantly took Victor Vane down on the spot without hesitation. His heavy body collapsed, eyes wide open, completely unable to believe he actually got blasted like that. Everyone inhaled sharply. Nobody expected the fierce officer to actually take him out with zero hesitation. Pure fear spread fast like crazy. Some guys were so utterly terrified they completely soiled their pants. Watch closely now. Seeing Victor taken out changed everything. Alden Sterling shook wildly, but definitely not out of pity for Vane. He was totally worried about himself. Will I get blasted just like Victor? He grew even more panicked. Feeling nervous, sweat dripped down fast. Yep, he actually peed his pants too, Alden loudly screamed. Officer, I am completely innocent. I lead the Sterling family. The Thorne family business has absolutely nothing to do with me. Lucius, Thorne forced me here. He is an absolute beast. His pale face full of resentment, he pointed at Lucius and cursed loudly. All those elites stared at Alden, completely stunned by his shameless trick. Ah, the classic throw your buddy under the bus to save your skin move. What a wild betrayal. Lucius, finally gathering his dizzy wits, angrily looked at Alden, cursing him. His face was ice cold. This total coward dares betray me. The nerve. The tycoons were terrified, praying Alden would just shut his mouth. Didn't he just see Victor get blasted? They really worried he would drag them all down with him. Right amidst the panic, the leading officer curiously looked over. So you lead the Grand Sterling family? I believe the commander's lovely wife also has the surname Sterling. Could you be the madam's father? Another officer frowned, whispering low. The commander ordered that everyone inside the Thorne mansion must be handled, but with this surprising identity, the second officer just shook his head. Special situations require special handling. Just pretend he vanished completely. The leading officer barked loudly. Stand up! Alden jolted, his face turning pale. Are they punishing me for what I said? No, I cannot fall here. The elite's hearts turned cold. As expected, his big mouth brought him ruin. They only hoped not to be fully implicated. Alden despairingly stood up slowly, squeezing his eyes tightly. The strict officer continued, Is it just you from the Sterling family here? Anyone from the Sterling family? Rise. You and I know what this means. The elites gasped, wide-eyed. The Sterling family is doomed. The whole clan falls. This absolute fool doomed his entire clan. Everyone's gaze fell heavily on Uncle Silas Sterling and the family butler, looking at them like total goners standing under those huge stairs. The two trembled as they stood up, completely convinced they were about to be eliminated. But the officer looked directly at the three of them and barked, What are you standing there for? Get out now! The entire grand courtyard fell absolutely silent. The three Sterlings were totally bewildered, not understanding anything happening. He really told us to leave? Seeing them frozen, the officer roared loudly. What are you waiting for? Start moving now. Get taken down. We want to leave. We are leaving, officer. We are leaving right now, Alden screamed hastily, sheer ecstasy washing right over his relaxed face. They did not hear wrong here. The officer really freed them. Uncle Silas and the butler finally snapped back to reality. They thought they would be blasted, but instead they were completely set free. The three frantically ran toward the mansion gates. Their legs were shaking so much the butler stumbled multiple times. Uncle Silas, despite his deep fear, actually managed to maintain some composure. He stopped and bravely said, Thank you so much, officer. Everyone in the courtyard was stunned. It was not until the three figures disappeared into the far distance that they finally recovered. They really got let go. The tycoons finally realized the officer was only targeting the Thorne family. As long as they could quickly prove they were innocent, they could survive. The patriarch of the Callahan family quickly copied the tactic, screaming loudly. Officer, I lead the Callahan family. We have absolutely no ties to the Thorne family at all. I was totally forced to come here. Please investigate this thoroughly. Old man Tobias hurriedly chimed in too. Tobias just runs hotels. We're honest. The wicked Thorns forced me. So what do you and I think happens next, huh? All right, stick with me. The elites were completely panicking, begging to prove they had zero ties to the Thorns. They sounded pathetic, wailing like babies. The commander blasted a warning shot straight up and roared, "Get on the ground! One more word and you are finished!" That loud blast and his furious shout made everyone shake, completely confused. Why did the Sterling family get a free pass but not us? We proved we have absolutely zero connection. Outside that massive estate, Alden Sterling crashed to the floor, gasping. He felt like he dodged total disaster, laughing wildly. The Sterling butler totally collapsed too, wiping his eyes. "Boss, we made it. I am so glad we are safe. The heavens protected us. No, it is your brilliance. That is exactly how we escaped." He aggressively kissed up. "Those other guys will probably leave soon. Boss, you are the absolute savior of those elites. They are safe entirely thanks to your genius. With the Thorns ruined, Akalon belongs to us." Alden was hyped. "Exactly, they are safe completely because of me." He cracked up, laughing, his face glowing with excitement. But right then, a loud blast echoed from the estate. The three jumped, hearts racing fast. Why was someone else taken down? Weren't they getting released? Alden was completely terrified. Uncle Silas looked totally freezing. "Now watch closely here. Nobody is leaving. Why do you think we actually escaped?" He glared at Alden, grinding his teeth hard. "Even now, you still dare ask why you are safe, you fool." He was furious, because Alden had absolutely zero clue whose epic power actually saved his skin. "The only reason you are breathing is because of the daughter you cut ties with, the one you tossed away. And yet you think you are safe from your own genius, you idiot." Silas felt completely helpless. He just stared at Alden. "Whatever, let us just leave." He did not want to waste a single breath. The butler suddenly perked up. "I totally get it." Standing outside that massive estate, the guy was glowing with realization. "Boss, I figured it out. Out of all those groups, only we had absolutely zero business with the Thorn family. The Thorns caused a completely massive disaster today. Anyone with even a tiny connection to them is totally finished. Only we are perfectly clean." Alden looked thrilled. "I wanted to work with them before, but they mocked us. I never expected that rejection to save us. This is pure destiny." He laughed like a villain, incredibly hyped they never teamed up. He sneered. "I know what you are thinking. He is totally clueless. The Thorns are finished, and he thinks Akalon is his playground. If that guy never messed with my daughter, I would not have suffered. This is pure karma, absolute karma." The more Alden thought about it, the angrier he got, complaining that he already cut ties with her completely. "Yet she still dragged me into this drama. Without her, I would not have lost everything." He growled at him. "Go straight to the security office later and drag them both back here. Today, I am teaching them a lesson. Even that kid will not get away with this." The butler quickly kissed up. "Yes, boss, but that is minor. The huge thing here is the Thorns are completely doomed, and all those other elite groups are completely finished too. This is a massive chance for our family in Akalon. Who else can even compete with us right now?" Just as the guy was hyping up their glorious future, the crazy loud roar of helicopters shook the entire sky. A massive combat chopper rushed toward the estate. Right on its side was a glowing red wolf head logo. Behind that, thousands of elite troops marched with insane energy heading directly for them. Alden's eyes basically popped out. "This is insane. Why are there more troops?" The butler shook. "Boss, who did the Thorns actually anger? Moving thousands of troops like this. This has to be an ultra-powerful VIP coming straight down from Zenith. The Thorns are completely doomed." "Zero doubt about it." Alden totally panicked. "What are you just standing around for?" Run Hu scrambled and bolted. Down at the mountain base, watching this huge army, old man Tobias stammered, "What? What is happening to the Thorns? Why is the military here too?" One single family pulled 1,000 elite troops. He had never witnessed anything this crazy, his words just stumbling together. Another leader shouted, "This army, how could they possibly work for the Thorns? Lucius Thorn completely lied to us. If they are not with the Thorns, could they belong to Kalen Vance?" Everyone went totally pale, completely stunned. "So what do you and I make of this? Kalen was just a kid. How could he call an army madness?" Old man Tobias shook his head fast. "Not another word. The Thorns are history. We must leave right now. Let us dive right in. You and I are about to watch these pathetic elites run away in absolute panic." Meanwhile, over at the Thorn family mansion, that epic Crimson Howler helicopter touched down, kicking up massive dust. An officer in the courtyard barked for attention, and the soldiers quickly cleared space. Lucius stared at the red wolf emblem, his heart hammering wildly. Who was visiting this time? My face briefly flashed in his mind, but he instantly brushed the thought away. Impossible. A 20-something kid having this much epic power. Plus, Chief Garrick had just called saying Kaylin Vance was arrested and being interrogated. How could it be? If not me, then who? Lucius thought really hard. The Thorne family had grown huge and offended totally everyone. Was it because of that epic disaster his big brother caused? Someone had definitely been targeting them recently. My little incident was just a spark from a hidden shadow. The mysterious helicopter fully landed, dust swirling beautifully everywhere. Lucius stared intently, totally desperate to know who was crushing the Thorne family. Even if he fell, he demanded answers. Commander Vex and 6 elite Special Ops members leaped down, standing respectfully on both sides. The entire mansion, officers and soldiers, thousands of people shouted out in perfect unison, "Greetings, Commander!" That heaven-shaking shout made the elites absolutely panic. A real commander had arrived at the Thorne family. What kind of insane VIP did they anger? Lucius Thorne, when did you upset a commander? This is fake. Tell me it is fake. We are finished. I am too young to lose everything. Lucius's wife collapsed, sobbing dramatically. I am so young and gorgeous, I just became the matriarch of the Thorne family. How can this happen? Lucius ignored his wife, totally lost in thought. Which commander did his son Darius accidentally offend the military? But his son was already gone. The military would not act this recklessly, right? They still had a tiny chance. But in the very next second, he totally froze, staring straight ahead. The legendary commander, stepped out of the chopper. Watch closely. His eyes went wide. This was not expected. It was a cheerful guy in his 20s, younger than his son. All the elites were totally dumbfounded. This kid is the commander. Does the Vidian Republic actually have commanders this young? All these planes, tanks, and soldiers were mobilized by him. I remained perfectly calm. My confident gaze swept across the crowd and securely locked right onto Lucius Thorne. I boldly stepped forward and spoke loudly. Patriarch Thorne. We finally meet. Lucius's heart hammered wildly, feeling a dramatic premonition. My cheerful voice sounded extremely familiar. He heard it somewhere. Suddenly he remembered. This was the voice from the phone call. The exact voice that warned him. His eyes widened fiercely as he dramatically roared, Kaylin. Vance, you are Kaylin Vance! That wild scream made all the elites jump, eyes filled with utter shock. This cheerful kid is Kaylin Vance. Impossible. Was he not arrested by Chief Garrick for interrogation? Why is this confident guy standing here? You and I love this. Everyone was mind-blown, brains practically short-circuiting, failing to process it. Before anyone could react, a decisive officer marched up, slapped Lucius across the face, and swept him to the ground, pinning him securely in place. The officer barked loudly, "You utter fool! Do you want to disappear? How dare you disrespect Commander Vance like that in public?" Lucius, writhing around, glared at me with furious eyes. I looked down at him, my confident gaze filled with a mysterious, playful contempt. I smiled warmly. Patriarch Thorne, you do not look like the mighty family head right now. You look regretful. I lowered my tone to a very mysterious whisper. Patriarch Thorne, I told you nicely before, if you knelt and apologized, I would spare you. But you were way too arrogant. You treated my words like garbage. Are you satisfied with this dramatic ending now? Vance, I will ruin you! Lucius struggled, pinned down tightly, only able to curse. You defeated my only son, and now you want to destroy the Thorne family. Yes, I regret not stopping you from the very start. I smirked cheerfully. When you do wrong, you pay up. For years, the Thorne family ran rampant in Alan. This is your ultimate karma. I turned to Commander Vex and ordered, take him away. Yes, Commander Vex had been eagerly waiting for this order. He grabbed Lucius and dragged him outside. Let me go, Lucius screamed, but it was totally useless. I am the proud patriarch of the Thorne family. What in the world are you, Kaylin Vance? You will face a truly terrible downfall. You will pay, I will crush you. His voice faded away until completely gone. Out in the courtyard, Lucius's wife was sobbing uncontrollably, her face showing pure shock. The mighty Thorne family was truly finished against a cheerful young man with heaven-reaching power. The giant Thorne family crumbled in the blink of an eye. She worked so hard to become matriarch. Yet now she lost everything, closing her eyes. Trust me, you and I absolutely love seeing this epic justice served. She knew begging was totally useless. 2 soldiers grabbed and dragged her far away. Trust me, you and I are seeing pure justice. I ignored her completely. Honestly, she was less than a tiny speck of worthless dust. Dragged away, she completely lost control and screamed her lungs out. "I am totally innocent, Commander. You really cannot do this to me. I do not know anything at all." But absolutely nobody gave her any attention. Not a single person even bothered looking her way. The two guards barked coldly. "Just keep quiet and walk. It is over. Everything is completely finished." She muttered, eyes completely empty while staring at me. I was just in my 20s, but I defeated her boy and dismantled the entire Thorn family. Her blank stare drifted past me, focusing on the beautiful courtyard garden. Those were actually her absolutely favorite flowers. Because she adored them, Lucius hired a caretaker to maintain them for over 20 years. She admired those petals for 2 decades without ever getting slightly bored. Back in the good days, Lucius was not like this. He was gentle, always bringing her gifts. The Thorn family was originally pretty small. Everything changed when his father passed away. His second brother betrayed them, joining a rival faction over in Zenith. The Thorn family plummeted and Lucius transformed entirely. He stopped being gentle. Losing all patience, he poured his entire focus into gaining power. His warm affection quickly twisted into harsh yelling and scolding. Slowly but surely, his massive efforts turned the Thorn family into the absolute overlords of Akalone. Now watch closely. He grew incredibly arrogant, challenging the very sky itself. That exact mindset shattered their glorious family into absolute dust right here today. It is all because of you, Huxley. You pushed her. You made Lucius turn out like this. The Thorn family fell apart entirely because of you. "I will ruin you!" she screamed. Her messy hair and incredibly shrill voice echoed deeply throughout the entire mansion. The two guards coldly dragged her right into an armored vehicle. Barely 30 minutes later, every single person inside the Thorn mansion was officially arrested. The massive mansion was in ruins, resembling an intense war zone. Captain Dallas marched up, saluting me with deep respect. "Commander, the mission is finished. Awaiting your orders." The eyes of every single soldier locked onto me, waiting patiently for my command. I said absolutely nothing, quietly gazing straight north. Captain Dallas felt super curious, clueless about my current thoughts, but he never dared to ask. A few intense minutes later, my deep voice echoed, "Withdraw." Once the command dropped, the whole estate buzzed with massive activity. Heavy helicopters, tanks, and armored vehicles roared loudly as they pulled out. The former mighty overlords of Akalon, the famous Thorn family, completely collapsed in under 30 minutes. News spread across Akalon, sending huge shockwaves everywhere. The Thorn family was finally vanquished. Everyone connected with them got promptly arrested. In less than 30 minutes, the supposedly unstoppable Thorn family, whose vast power practically touched the sky, completely vanished. Lucius Thorn's associated families and businesses were entirely uprooted. The city of Akalon shook wildly as if struck by an earthquake. When the shocked citizens heard the official broadcast, anyone holding hard evidence of the Thorn family's wrongdoings handed in immediately. Huge rewards are waiting. Seriously, the Thorn family is actually finished. It is totally true. Submit your evidence right now and score a truly massive cash reward. I heard the sweet reward money comes directly from the Thorn family's newly seized assets. Their dark era is completely over for good. What are you waiting for? All of Akalon boiled with pure excitement. Happy citizens cheerfully danced right in the streets. The corrupt Thorn family oppressed the city for years. Their epic downfall was literally the best news ever. You feel it, right? Turning in evidence for huge rewards was insane. This was a true once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Missing out would be their biggest lifetime regret. Meanwhile, during a secret elite meeting, the rich families who skipped the Thorn mansion nervously gathered to discuss the situation. Everyone heard the massive news outside. Do we submit the hidden evidence or not? Speak up. What is there to hesitate about? The Thorn family is finished. If we do not hand it over now, when will we? We are not Thorn family allies. The higher-ups will not touch us, one wealthy tycoon anxiously claimed. Not necessarily. Things are escalating beyond our expectations. Initially, I was weighing whether I should choose the Thorn family or Kaelin Vance instead. Who would have actually thought a terrifying powerhouse would emerge and completely erase the Thorn family in half an hour? If a stronger power shows up now, we are just tiny shrimp. The room fell completely silent in absolute confusion. Handing over that evidence felt like inviting huge disaster, but keeping it hidden meant totally missing the chance to carve up the Thorn family's massive assets, the exact wealth they had craved for years. The Thorn family used to be too insanely strong to touch, but since they completely collapsed, this was an absolute golden opportunity. Suddenly all eyes turned toward old man Tobias in the center. "Old Tobias, say something. We need to hear your decision." Old man Tobias simply tapped his cane, remaining completely silent. "So what happens next?" Everyone waited anxiously, completely sweating on hot coals. Just as he was finally about to speak, someone abruptly cut him off. "Bad news. Look at this quickly." A pale tycoon frantically jumped right out of his chair. "You and I are about to dive in. Look at the news." "Is that the guy who eliminated the thorns?" Everyone frantically checked their phones. The entire room froze in shock. The media was totally flooded with Thorn family headlines. My situation with Ara was twisted into a horrible accusation. The entire Thorn family incident got branded as a major attack. Every single detail about the Thorn family was wildly distorted, miles away from the actual truth. Clearly, someone was pulling the strings from the shadows. Now another mysterious player is joining the fight. They want to take down the big boss who crushed the Thorn family. Talk about incredible power. Looks like this mysterious boss might actually fall. The news is absolutely everywhere right now. The entire country knows that this secret identity is probably about to be fully exposed. What do we do now? "Who is this boss anyway?" A wealthy tycoon in gold-rimmed glasses finally spoke up. "I remember the forces sent to Akalon included Vidian Aviation. Could this boss actually be a genius from the Science Alliance?" Everyone frowned. If it was a top scholar, that made total sense. But nobody dared to gossip about those elite scholars. Another tycoon trembled. "Smearing a national scholar online is an absolute crime, old man." Tobias stood up abruptly and barked at them to stop talking. "Curiosity brings trouble. From now on, nobody is allowed to discuss that mysterious boss here at the Grand Civ Manor. After dealing with the Thorns, I brought Ara and Pip here to stay." On the sofa, Pip played with her building blocks, looking so adorably serious and totally focused. "Now, pay attention. Here is where it gets wholesome. Pip want to go out with Daddy tomorrow." Pip jumped up, cheering happily. I poked my head out, smiling brightly. "If you want to go, hurry and help Mommy pack our bags." Pip bolted over and hugged me tight. Her eyes shining brightly, she asked, "Daddy, tomorrow we are going to that awesome park, right?" Ever since I mentioned that special park, Pip always remembered it, even dreaming about it. She remembered I said she could wear a spacesuit, fly into outer space, and sleep right among the stars. I picked her up, laughing. "When we reach the Northwest, Daddy will finish the space elevator super fast. When that happens, Pip can finally go to space." "Thank you, Daddy." Pip bounced around the room, her eyes sparkled, her face flushing red with pure excitement at the thought of flying right into space. I smiled and continued, "Pip, Daddy remembers your upcoming birthday. On that special day, our whole family will go together." "Yes." Pip cupped my face, her sweet, childish voice asking, "So what present is Daddy giving me?" Ara, standing nearby, laughed out loud and reminded her, "Did you forget Daddy is taking you to space? Isn't that a massive present that does not count?" Pip stuck her tongue out, turned to me and asked, "Once we are in space, can you give me the moon? Do you like it?" "I absolutely love it." Pip loves the moon the very most. "Mommy said the moon goddess lives up there. Daddy is the absolute best daddy in the world. You can do anything." I laughed heartily, my mood soaring. Pip danced around the room, her pure happiness overflowing. "You and I know this feeling, right?" Looking at my daughter, I thought about those 6 lost years. I wanted to make up for everything. I wanted Pip to be the happiest girl in the world. Ara walked over and gently kissed my cheek. She radiated happiness, finally having the man she loved by her side. This was the true feeling of family. A loving husband and an adorable little daughter. To Ara, as long as the 3 of us stayed together, anywhere felt like home. She wanted me nearby forever. But she also knew I was not just a simple husband and a father. I was the unmatched scholar of the Vidian Republic. I was a true pillar of the nation. She simply could not be selfish. I completely belonged to the Vidian Republic. My very existence was dedicated to advancing our nation. Only when the Vidian Republic was truly strong could our family stay protected. "The nation comes first, then our home," Ara said gently. "All right, you two, stop being so clingy. Dinner is finally ready. Let's eat." I smiled, nodded, and led Pip out. But the second we entered the living room, the TV was blaring loudly. Is Akalon not part of the Vidian Republic? What absolute arrogance. This is the Vidian Republic. These terrible villains dare to disregard the law running rampant. Why are they still completely safe and sound? Where did their dangerous weapons come from? Who gave them such audacity? Ara froze, staring at the TV. The news anchor talked about those villains, clearly implying it was actually me. Ara looked anxious, but my face remained icy cold. my fierce energy surging. The living room fell totally silent. Suddenly, Pip's sweet voice broke the heavy quiet mixed with tears. The TV is totally lying. Daddy is not bad. Daddy protects Mommy and Pip. Daddy is a good person. He is a great hero. My sweet daughter's words completely warmed my heart. Pip is absolutely right. Daddy is not bad. I looked at Pip, remembering Lucius Thorne's words before he was taken. I will not let you off. This is his final counterattack. So what do you and I think? I smirked coldly, totally unfazed. Ara, do not worry. This means absolutely nothing to me. Stick with me here. We are jumping right into a wild mystery. Are you really okay? Ara trusted my words, but still worried those sneaky villains might pull something nasty. Just then my phone suddenly buzzed. Catching the name on screen, I just smiled and answered. Academician Mercer. The director's voice sounded absolutely frantic. Little Vance, do not say anything. Turn on the news. I just laughed. Director, I saw it. It is definitely the Thorne family remnants. Just silly clowns. Do not get mad. Let us see what they attempt next. Director Mercer roared. You might be calm, but I am going to explode with rage. We cannot ignore this. We must drag the mastermind out. These people are ridiculously bold. But do not worry at all. I am calling for a full investigation right now. We will search the entire globe to catch them. Thanks, Director. I felt kind of helpless. Honestly, I did not care much. They were merely clowns showing off. Right now, my only focus was that space elevator project. I needed to head back northwest. It was paused way too long. I simply could not wait. I must speed up progress. You are right. We cannot pause. The higher-ups keep rushing us, but with you, we feel completely secure. We will meet again soon. After our chat, I hung up and gently stroked her hair. Ara, you are not worried anymore, right? I did not even speak yet. Mercer is already handling things. Tomorrow, we leave for the northwest. Yay, hearing the plan was unchanged. Pip jumped for joy. I laughed. Pip, do not celebrate early. Sleep in tomorrow and we leave without you. Pip instantly replied, Pip will wake up early. I will not oversleep. Keep your word. I smiled, offering my hand. Pinky promise with Daddy. Watching us goofing around, Ara felt a bit dazed. She realized I was not just faking being calm. I honestly did not care. Mercer's call proved the news was not worth stressing over at all. She shook her head and strolled into the kitchen. If I told her not to worry, why should she? She had already witnessed my incredible abilities. Having me by her side was enough. She brightly smiled, her heart totally overflowing with happiness. Watch this closely as rumors spread. The entire Vidian Republic totally flipped out. Every channel and platform scrambled to report this madness. Everyone saw it. Public chatter exploded. The whole country felt totally shocked. Topics broke records. Is this real? Too absurd. This is the Vidian Republic, the safest country around. How could this happen? I bet it is 80% fake. Things like this never happen here. Yet one guy insisted it was absolutely true. Some nameless guy heard a girl in Accolone hiding for 6 years. Because of her, he just fought a rich family, led an armed squad, and completely wiped out their entire household. Got any video-proof armed bad guys? Who is he? Even movie writers would not invent this. Keep talking. Who is he exactly? Who acts this arrogant in our republic? Such a huge event, yet officials remain totally silent. That is exactly the point. You and I know this is fishy. The internet explodes, but officials stay silent, and his info is totally scrubbed. He is deliberately hidden. The secrets run way too deep. I do not even want to guess. People online are smart. They quickly realized the suspect was roaming free, his background scrubbed completely clean. Either he wielded terrifying power or this was a massive secret war way beyond normal folks. The less they knew, the more insanely curious everyone got. Some people guessed he was a powerful young master from a giant Zenith family. Others totally believed it was some shadowy international organization. Some boldly claimed he was a top official. During this fierce debate, a Science Alliance member posted something flipping everything. Stop arguing right now, there are no terrorists. The guy you keep mentioning is Kaylin Vance, the absolute genius scholar of our republic. Those online rumors are entirely fake. The whole incident was completely twisted by sneaky conspirators. Kaylin Vance is no villain. He is the youngest brilliant scientist in the entire Vidian Republic history. For years, he stayed anonymous, leading top scientists to create peak technology, pushing our republic to literally lead the world. For 6 whole years, he stayed hidden in the Northwest, completely perfecting incredible new tech. Right when his massive space project almost succeeded, his daughter called for help, saying his family was in terrible danger. He had to leave his project to save them. That is the duty of a true husband and father. How is he a terrorist? He is a great father, an amazing husband, and the unmatched scholar of our republic. Trust me, we knew it. This post went viral and the internet completely exploded. Stick with me. You and I are watching the internet absolutely break. Seeing the official academician verification badge, everyone instantly believed it and was left completely stunned. Wait, the supposed villain is actually the youngest national scientist in history. People were in pure denial. If he is so brilliant, what about the alleged crimes? Skepticism ran deep. To the Vidian citizens, scholars are absolute legends, selfless heroes devoted to the nation, carrying noble hearts and perfectly pure intentions. Because of this, they completely refused to believe that a respected national scholar could ever commit the terrible crimes being constantly blasted all over the media. Then boom. Another mind-blowing update dropped out of nowhere. A user posted online begging everyone to stop doubting the young academician. I am so sorry. I apologize to national scholar Kalen Vance. Greed blinded me and I was paid to ruin him. The guilt is crushing me. Please, I beg everyone, stop spreading lies and doubting who he is. Stop attacking him. He is a genuine hero of the Vidian Republic. That single post hit the internet like a massive bomb, creating absolute chaos. One by one, more people stepped up confessing they were bribed to smear my name. It kept going. Users started digging deeper into my background. The Vidian Republic genuinely has an academician named Kalen Vance. Oh my gosh, he is only 24. The very first aircraft carrier of the Republic was engineered by him and his mentor, Mobile Space Radiation Defense Tech. He built that too. The guy is a totally unmatched genius and a real hero. Now watch closely, here is where it gets wild. You and I are definitely wondering, did this 24-year-old cheat the system? If he were 30, sure. But in his 20s, he probably just slapped his name onto all his hardworking master's projects. At my age, I barely graduated college, and he is top tier. The debate grew incredibly fierce and loud. Then the national broadcaster dropped a massive official report. According to Breaking News Tonight, the United States Space Agency and elite scientists from the top global universities are flying straight into the Vidian Republic right now. Even the director of the Canadian Capital Science Academy is leading a massive delegation. Experts from the Aerospace Council, the New Zealand Alliance, France, and Northern Ireland are all arriving on the same flight. This update completely shattered social media all over again. Sure, international scientists visiting the Vidian Republic was pretty standard. It was usually just academic exchange, but this time an incredible 35 countries, nearly half the developed world, plus the Western Africa Expo Alliance were all landing together in one single night. I know what you are thinking. A gathering this massive is completely unheard of. Why are they all suddenly choosing tonight? Why not the daytime? What exactly is happening in the Vidian Republic? Clearly something completely extraordinary is unfolding right now. Then a user connected the dots. The youngest academician, Kalen Vance, returns to the Northwest tomorrow. All these nations arriving tonight. Could they actually be here for him? What did he even do? Did he invent some crazy new technology? What kind? Amidst all the wild confusion, academician Kendrick dropped a new post containing just 2 simple words. Space elevator. The entire internet just completely froze. A space elevator. Is that not just pure sci-fi magic? It is becoming reality. Because of this project, top global scientists are desperately rushing over here. That post triggered an absolute hurricane. Users jumped into heated explosive debates, desperate for the truth. Soon after, every single corrupt force tied to the Thorne family was completely arrested. The shadowy hands manipulating the media were dragged straight into the light. Every criminal underworld faction across the entire country got simultaneously purged. Meanwhile, my ultimate space elevator project successfully reached completion. This masterpiece later became a monumental leap for human space exploration, drawing in the active participation of dozens of nations. And that is where we leave it. You and I just witnessed my epic gift to Pip and Ara, who waited 6 years.